Content warning. On this podcast, we discuss sensitive issues, including, but not limited to, swearing, tasteless jokes, situations of a sexual nature, and drug use. This podcast is not intended for children. Welcome to BiblioWrecks, where we read the worst stories the world has to offer. I'm Bam Bam.
And I'm Bugs. And today we are doing The Trail of the Axe, a story of Red Sand Valley.
This sounds violent? Violent.
Axe.
Axe.
And my axe.
And I'm on a trail and killing people.
I know, The Trail of the Axe, that sounds like Tomahawk.
Yeah, it sounds very
Warpath.
Mel Gibson-y.
Yes, it actually isn't
Oh.
at all that thing.
Okay.
But I want your opinion on how we say this author's first name. I've been saying Ridgwell Cullum the whole time.
Yeah, I would say that's Ridgwell Cullum. It's spelled Ridgwell.
And so Ridge has an E at the end. So I was wondering if it should be Ridgwell.
Yeah, I would say it's just Ridgwell.
Ridgwell?
I would say most people would just say that's Ridgwell.
Okay. And I found this book like at Goodwill or a used bookstore, and it looks to be self-published. What do you think?
It vibes like self-published, yeah. I've gotten the sense for that. I remember when we started, you were talking about just being able to look one and tell.
Tell that it's self-published. And like, look at the back. It is just white print on a black background, no pictures, and just the ISBN.
Yeah. No fanfare, no little
Like, it doesn't even tell
decorations or
you the
anything.
publishing company on the back.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing on the back. And then if you look at the title page, that looks very self-published. And it was copyright 2016, Jefferson Publication. The formatting is bad.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of Roman numerals.
But also look how tiny the margins
that's tiny.
are.
That is weird.
Like-
yeah, usually self-published, I usually think they're like, medium to bigger print, but that's tiny.
This is biblical
That is
size
little.
print. This is tiny print.
Wow.
And the margins are small.
Huh.
So I'm like, they didn't have anyone to help them do formatting? Like, this is rough.
You know what? This might be like a cost-effective measure.
Possibly.
Because, he said, the print's going to be super tiny, but I'm going to be able to fit this on
147 pages.
Yeah.
And just now I'm realizing at the end I make a note of how this book is so incredibly long. And now I'm thinking it's because they fit 300 pages.
Yes.
Worth
Because
of,
the print is half the size it should be.
and there's half an inch on each side. Like it is.
I mean, that is different from what we usually get, because usually it's like very sparsely populated 150 pages.
Right. And you're like, oh, I can read this in an hour. This one took so long to read. And then what really caught my attention, I left this on the kitchen table and you picked it up and you're like, what is this? Is the back of the book. So I'm going to read you the back of the book. Dave was 32, but looked 40. For in molding his great, strong, ugly face, nature had been less than kind to him. It is probable, from his earliest, Dave had never looked less than 10 years older than he really was. Observing him closely, one had the impression that nature had set herself the task of equipping him for a tremendous struggle in the battle of life, as though she had determined to make him invincible. Presuming this to have been her purpose, she set to work with a liberal hand. She gave him a big heart, doubtless wishing him to be strong to fight and of great courage, yet with a wonderful sympathy for the beaten foe.
Nature made me ugly so I could fight better.
Yes, I'm big, strong, and ugly.
But I have a big heart.
So,
Never looked younger than 10 years
I know, I'm
older than he
imagining
is?
a baby
Yeah,
coming
a
out
baby
with
coming
a
out.
wrinkled face. Benjamin Button. I guess it's to just make him seem more mature.
Yeah, like gruffer than he should be, I guess.
He
is
had
the
a
vibe.
full beard at 9 years old. And in the book, I'll read it to you over and over, but he is just consistently described as hulking and ugly.
Yeah, sounds a bit like an insecurity. Do we know what the author looks like? Because, my automatic assumption with a book with a character with a really big insecurity, you think maybe self-insert.
I can't remember if I found a picture of the author. The first chapter is called Dave.
Dave's not here.
He's our main character. I want to read you the first 2 sentences of chapter 1.
Oh, boy.
Dave was 32, but looked 40. For in molding his great, strong, ugly face, nature had been less than kind to him. They just took the first 3 or 4 sentences of the book as their blurb on the back.
I guess, yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is lazy, but I mean, you're not like letting them in on information and ruining it before you get to read it, I guess, is the most positive spin I could put on that. But
I do have to say, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that.
So that I was just like, yeah, whoever did this, not creative. Okay. Because we couldn't even do Dave is a strong woodsman who defeats the odds.
A broad summary. Like,
yeah.
You know, that could be like a technical little summary that he put at the very beginning of the book to lay out the groundwork. But if that's the groundwork for the entire book is I'm ugly and I look old, then this is going to be a really boring book.
Yes.
If that's what the entire book is about.
We meet Dave in chapter 1. He's big.
Oh.
And ugly.
Oh. I never would have guessed.
But he's smart and has business sense.
I see.
He moved from the USA to Western Canada 12 years ago when he was 20. Currently, he's 32. And he has been running a mill. So he is like a lumberman.
Yeah. A lumberjack, because he's a manly man with a big heart, as all lumberjacks are.
Yes, and I will not be singing the Monty Python song the entire.
Nope, don't know what that is.
Well, that means I have to.
Oh well, I don't think you can legally.
He found Red Sand Valley and decided to start a lumber trade there. So he's basically the one who created this village. That he's the founder. He's the father.
Modern Manifest Destiny, yeah.
Yes.
Manifest Destiny fantasy, love that. Okay.
So he found this valley and, quote, and he knew that these wonderful primordial wastes were only waiting for the axe of the woodsman to yield a building lumber second to none in the world.
Ah, yes. That's the natural state of things, is to be used by humans. Because everything is owed to humans.
By the white man.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody else lived there.
Right,
He's the first one to find these valleys and these mountains.
And it has to be organized in such a way that it's only the modern way that we can recognize it as being productive and in no other way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he decides, our hero sets out to single-handedly deforest Western Canada.
I see. Yes, that does make sense.
Because the Trail of the Axe is literally just deforestation.
Oh, it's just a clear cut.
It's just clear cutting.
He's just clear cutting
Mountains.
I see.
He finds old growth forest and says, yes.
Sees an old growth forest and he's just like, I gotta get rid of this shit right now.
Yes.
It's like a beaver hearing running water.
Yes. And he is our hero.
I see. Well, I mean, I do believe that he would do this. I am buying it. He's selling it. It's not a big stretch of the imagination. But...
Yeah. So this is the background of Dave, our big, ugly hero. He starts out with a saw pit and just chopping the wood himself, and then builds up to a sawmill. Because of him, a railroad line and a village grow up around the mill. Quote, he was an American businessman, raised in the commercial faith of his country. He understood the value of, quote-unquote, monopoly, and he made for it. Thus, when he could ill spare capital, by dint of heavy borrowings, he purchased all the land he required and the lumbering rights of that vast region. Also, why is monopoly in quotations and lumbering in quotations? Because those are just things.
Both things are just ideas. Lumbering is just an idea.
Monopoly. Maybe it's in a sarcastic tone of voice. Monopoly.
Lumbering.
That happens throughout the whole book. Strange quotation marks around words of just a thing.
Yeah, I feel like it probably just wants to add emphasis.
Yeah,
and just doesn't know.
Italics.
Yeah. Or underline. That was something in that last book me and Lily did. The author was underlining for emphasis instead of italics or bold print or anything like that.
Yeah, so maybe that's just how this author chooses to show us.
Yeah, everybody's got their weird ways, I guess.
So he goes from a smaller mill and needs to build a bigger mill. He sells the smaller mill to a friend on the condition it's only used for small building materials so as to keep his monopoly. So this guy is like, I don't need this small one anymore. You can have it, but you can never use it for anything important. You may only cut wood for small houses or for like furniture.
I see.
Because
this
I
is going to
have
be
the great
yours,
building.
but I'm the one in control of your business.
Yes. You must stay hobbyist. Your mill is allowed to stay hobbyist and small. You can never compete with me.
That sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks. It's a very conditional, mean thing to do. And that was his friend.
Yeah.
This is somebody he supposedly cares about.
Just because he's scared of having any competition.
Yes, he doesn't want any competition at all.
Yeah, 'cause
even though this
that'll
is a
lose
smaller
money.
mill and could not realistically compete with a very big mill for big stuff, he's just like, yeah, you can never upgrade it. You can never make it bigger or better. You must stay small and the size you are now forever. For the eternity of this mill standing here. Like
Yeah,
it's in
you're
the
not
letters.
allowed to make money the way I made money.
Correct.
Yeah. What a douchebag.
Yeah. That friend dies, and it becomes the property of his son, Jim Truscott. So, small mill, it's limited. It goes from the father, who then dies, and it goes to his son, Jim.
Yep.
Dave has a small cottage that his mother keeps for him, and her only duty in this book is to feed and care for Dave. So she's this hunchbacked old lady, and she just follows him around feeding him.
Just a caricature of motherhood.
Yes.
I see.
And her
As women should be.
As women should be. That is her only purpose in life.
I see.
Is to feed her great hulking ugly son. Dave is in his office one day, and a, quote, little Betty Summers comes to visit him.
I don't like the way you said that.
Yeah, I don't
It
like...
feels demeaning immediately.
Yes.
Unless she's like a literal child, that felt very demeaning.
She's 5'6", but since he's a giant at 6'5", and a broad-shouldered
little.
beast, she's a whittle. She's
I
tiny.
see. Yes, we have a large character that likes a little woman.
Small.
Little small girl.
Yes.
I see.
And
very original.
she's 22. And he's 32.
Yeah, don't love that. Like, it's not illegal. I just don't like that.
Right.
It's still...
But, like, the paternalism of little Betty is because he's so much older and so much bigger. And she's, like, the local school teacher.
I see.
So we can look down on her because she's not big businessman and she's little.
As well as just physically looking down at her.
He's surprised to see her. Quote, I'm playing truant, she explained. Then her pretty lips twisted wryly, and she pointed at the lintel of the door. Please
With her lips?
Yes. She has great, big, long cartoon lips.
She's just duck-mouthing in a direct...
She pointed at the lintel of the door. Please sit down there, she commanded. Then she laughed again. I want to talk to you, and I have no desire to dislocate my neck. Because she's so small. And a lintel is the beam across the top of the door.
Okay.
So whenever you see like an arched door, the lintel is the round bit on top, the half circle. If you have a square door, it's literally the beam that goes across the top.
Okay.
I knew what the definition of a lintel was. And the author did not. So in my mind, I was imagining a 6'5" man sitting on top of his door, staring down at her.
Yeah, sit down on top of the door so I don't have to look up at you. What?
Add 6 feet. You're already 6
I see.
feet.
What does he think a lintel is?
The step, literally the bottom of the door.
Oh, okay.
Like she wants him to sit down on the step of the door so she can stand outside and be basically eye level with him if he's sitting.
Okay.
So I'm like, did this author not have a dictionary? Like, So I was starting to get the sense of maybe this author is picking old-fashioned words and just using them incorrectly.
Yeah, it's possible.
And through the book that happens of like a word will be used slightly wrong. And I'm like, this is just kind of pretentious. Most people don't say lentil. I know what a lentil is, but I also have read a lot of obscure old stuff to know where that word is from.
If you wanted them to sit on the step in the frame of the door, you would just say,
Doorstep.
sit on the stoop of the door.
Yes.
Or sit on the door stoop or something.
Right.
Or, just have him sit in a chair.
Yeah, please just come sit so I can talk to you and not sprain my neck.
Sit on this step at the bottom of the staircase.
So here's the rest of that quote. The man grinned humorously at her imperious tone and sat down. They were great friends, these two. Betty looked upon him as a very dear, big, ugly brother to whom she could always carry all her little worries and troubles, and ever be sure of a sympathetic adviser. It never occurred to her that Dave could be anything dearer to anybody. He was just Dave. A dear old Dave, an appellation which seemed to fit him exactly. The thought of him as a lover was quite impossible. It never entered her head. Probably the only people in Malkern who ever considered the possibility of Dave as a lover were his own mother and perhaps...
What? No. Whoa. Hold on. Excuse me. No, finish that. But we're coming back to that.
We can come back to that. And perhaps Mrs. Tom Chepstow.
What? Who the fuck is that? Is that the neighbor lady?
Betty's aunt.
Oh, okay.
But then they were wiser than most of the women of the village.
What?
Besides, doubtless his mother was prejudiced, and Mrs. Tom, in her capacity as the wife of the Reverend Tom Chepstow, made it her business to study the members of her husband's parish more carefully than the other women did. But to the ordinary observer, he certainly did not suggest the lover. He was so strong, so cumbersome, so unromantic. Then his ways were so deliberate, so machine-like. It almost seemed as though he had taken to himself something of the harsh precision of his own mills. He has a face only a mother could love. Literally.
Oh, is that what they meant?
Yes. I think that the two women that were mentioned, Betty's aunt and his own mother, think of him as someone who ought to get married.
Okay.
But everyone else looks at him and says, ew,
you're
who could like
unmarriable.
him? Yes,
Yeah.
You are so big and so ugly that no one could even think of you in a lover fashion. But the way it's written makes it sound like his mom wants to have sex with him.
You have a face only a mother could sit on. Jesus Christ. That is crazy. That's fucking nuts.
So, like, when I say the book emphasizes his ugliness, this is on page 6.
Okay, yeah. So this is just what insecurity feels like. We're being given this character's thoughts, this woman's thoughts, right? Like these are the thoughts in her head.
Betty is we know Betty has never thought of him as anything but a big brother, and no one in the village can look at him and think of him as more than a big brother.
Yeah. This is just what insecurity feels like.
This is incel.
Yeah.
This is so incel.
He's very certain this is the only way anyone thinks of him. And you know what? It might be true. But what? That is weird.
Yes.
That is a weird setup.
It is so weird.
I'm the most unfuckable man. Which I get feeling like that. I get it. But he's just so desperate about it.
And he...
Because it's like, woe is me. I'm so ugly and no one will have sex with... No one wants to love me.
And his whole attitude in the book is no one could love me. I am literally unlovable. Well, my mom loves me because she has to, because she's my mom. No one will ever... It doesn't count. No one will ever love me.
I see.
And like the book says basically, yeah, and he's right. Like, he's so ugly, no one should love him.
The world is affirming that he is ugly and no one loves him.
Yes. Okay. So we have the friend-zoned rich business man, but because he is so big and ugly, unlovable, unfuckable, Betty is described as beautiful, rounded but slim and athletic.
Oh, God. Are we going to punish her for being pretty?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's just everyone looks at her and is like amazed at how beautiful she is. It's kind of giving Beauty and the Beast a little bit, but like, oh, she's just so beautiful. Everyone looks upon her and she's so pure of heart and so white and so lovely. She's there to raise money for a charity picnic, and he jokes that money is all he's good for. And then she gets upset, so he tries to play it off as a joke, and he hands her $50.
What? Why?
And this is said...
Why did he hand her $50?
Because she's trying to raise money for a charity picnic, and she needs money to pay for the food for the picnic. But this is set sometime in the 1800s. I'm not sure if this is like 1850s. I'm not sure if this is 1880s. It never says.
Okay.
And
I thought we were contemporary time.
No, this is like a long time ago. But we're never told explicitly when. This is kind of like, you know, how you'll have the Wild West Westerns. But they never really say, was this before the Civil War? Was this after? Like, which state was in the Union at this point? Because we don't want to deal with mucky history and political stuff. This is just Paul Bunyan fantasy time. So $50 is like 3 men's months of wages. You know, like this is an insane amount of money.
So we have an ugly man who is essentially a rich philanthropist. Okay.
And she was just coming to visit and say, do you have some money for this charity thing I'm doing? Because it's to raise money for the schoolhouse because a lot of the kids can't afford to pay for the school. And she's the teacher and she's trying to keep her school running.
And he's like putting on like an emotional tax as he's giving her $50?
Yeah, because he's like, well, you only come and ask for money. And she's like, oh, that's not true. Like, but because he's in this self-pitying mindset all the time.
Now here's $50.
Yeah, because she was upset.
You're not going to stop taking my money, are you?
Right. And because he does want her to come visiting him, he's like, well, here's 50. And because he's so rich, 50 means nothing to him, but it's as much as she could raise from everyone else in the village. So he likes to throw his money around to make her feel better.
Yeah. This already feels a little... This feels sad.
And then she's like, no, I didn't mean this much. Just give me a normal amount, like $5 or $10. And he's like, no, I'm not taking it back. You have to take it now because you made me unhappy. Now you have to feel embarrassed.
So we're not encouraging, strengthening other characters. We're literally sinking all of our investment into one character in the writing here. Just in the main character. None of the other characters get any kind of investment or anything.
We eventually add some other characters where things happen, but it all is revolving around Dave. Everyone else's lives revolves around Dave.
Yeah.
So he tries to say that he doesn't want to go to the picnic, and she finally says, if you don't come to the picnic, I'll never forgive you, and she runs away. Because he's acting petulant, but she's also 22 and immature herself. Dave decides he is going to go to the picnic. Quote, all the years of his manhood had taught him that there was small place for him where the youth of both sexes foregathered.
Whoa, what?
His body was too cumbersome, his tongue was too slow, and his face was too plain. The dalliance of man and maid was not for him, he knew, and did he ever doubt or forget it? His looking glass, like an evil spirit, was ever ready to remind and convince him.
Again, can we circle back to that first sentence?
All the years of his manhood had taught him that there was small place for him where the youth of both sexes foregathered. Foregathered should be were gathered.
Right. That definitely sounds weird. I think I was thinking a little too hard on placing the words manhood and children in a sentence together.
Youth of both sexes.
Yeah.
Basically, this big picnic is
it's where teenagers and 20-year-olds go and hook up.
Yes. And that's where they can like press their suit on each other.
Yeah.
And so
court and whatnot.
Yes. And where it's a fairly like dispersed county, you do have the town, but a lot of people will come into the town and see each other, and they hadn't seen each other for a long time. So that's the time for the youth to go sit at the side of the river and talk and go for a walk together. And he knows there's no room for him at those places.
He doesn't socialize at all?
He's fugly.
That doesn't mean you can't fucking talk to people.
In this book, it does.
Yeah, this is super incel.
Yes.
This is very incel.
Like, literally, he doesn't want to go to the dance because he knows he'll be a wallflower, and that's just unbearable. Like, he can't... So he does go to the picnic, and everyone at the picnic has a good time, but he just helps with the kids and serving the food and cleaning up.
Also, this is like totally ignoring like an entire dimension of what people are like, because I remember dances. I remember there were kids that were, sort of on that incel-y spectrum, and the girls in the high school pitied them, and they would like go out of their way to like talk to them, dance with them at the homecoming and stuff like that.
Try to include them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not being assholes to people like this.
Also, women are told online, in media, in person, and by family, you have to give the good guy a try. And that's why this fake term of friend zone is a thing, because it's saying, oh, you don't have romantic feelings for him and you just want to be friends. You should still give him a chance. Like, women are preached at all the time. He doesn't look super handsome, but you could still get along. Women are encouraged.
Or his personality is just kind of shit, and you don't like it in like a romantic way. But he's nice. See, I got a lot of that because to give the listeners a little secret about me, when I was a teenager and in my 20s, my personality was fucking repugnant. But I was really pretty and polite to moms, so they loved me.
Yep.
And they were constantly trying to push their daughters toward me because, I always had a job at an early age. I was relatively stable. I looked great.
On paper.
To moms.
To moms, yeah.
Yeah. But to anyone my age... immediate ick, immediate brother status, and promoted a lot of the incel-y feelings in my early life. And yeah, no, I see how you get, but yeah, it just totally ignores that, someone could be, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
It's kind of like a lot of the times the men with these attitudes are not even willing to try. They're not willing to act friendly. They're not willing to go do hobbies or improve themselves as a person.
Yeah.
They're not willing to get a haircut and shower and put on clean clothes, which would make them look more attractive if they just gave a shit and tried a little.
Yeah. And it kind of just shows their shallowness because, if they think looks are all that matter to everyone else, that kind of shows what they care about. That's all that really matters to them is looks.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that just don't really care about looks.
Yeah.
Or they care about pragmatism. And especially in the 1850s to 90s or whenever this is, that probably would have been a little more common.
Oh, yeah. He would have been a total match. Like an actual catch with the amount of money and status he has.
Yeah. So this is just woe is me world. Even though the setting should be promoting him being a little bit more...
Can you imagine how many fathers would be telling their daughters, hey, go hang out with Dave. He has all the money.
There wouldn't be a choice.
You would inherit so much stuff. So he goes off and has a pipe because he did his chores and now he can go sulk by himself. And Betty finds him and she's really excited, which makes him nervous. And she finally tells him that Jim Prescott has proposed to her and she said yes. But she's not quite happy and needs his advice.
Okay. Oh, God, what advice is he going to give her? Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no.
So she is saying Jim Prescott is a very, very handsome young man.
Okay.
And he has swagger. He's a little bit of a bad boy, but good enough to, be respectable. He's just, the life of the party.
Yeah. He's got charisma.
Quote, you see, he is so kind and thoughtful, so brave, so masterful, so handsome, with just that dash of recklessness, which makes him so fascinating to a girl. I have watched him pay attention to other girls, and night after night I have cried myself to sleep about it. Dave, you have never known what it is to love anybody, so all this may seem silly to you, but I only want to show you how much I have always cared for Jim. And then she's like, now that he's proposed, I don't feel excited. What's wrong with me? And she had felt all this anticipation, and now she feels deflated. And she's like, what's wrong with me? And he's replying to her, quote, "No, it's not that, Betty," he said earnestly. "It's not that you love him less. It's just that for all that year you've thought and hoped about it, till there's nothing more to it," he added lamely. "You see, it's the same with all things. Realization is nothing. It's all in the anticipation. You wait, little girl. When things are fixed and Parson Tom has said, right, you'll just be the happiest little bit of a girl in Malkern. That's sure." So he's trying to encourage her engagement with Jim. Mm-hmm. He's trying to be selfless and help her be happy.
Okay.
And so he's trying to explain to her that she was excited in the anticipation, and now that she's got it, that she's not very excited anymore, but that can be true for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. The anticipation is what is exciting. The getting is not what you quite thought it would be because you built it up so big.
Sure.
And she feels reassured, but Jim is looking for Betty, and he finds them. Jim seated himself directly in front of Dave, who now watched him with added interest. He now noticed several things in the boy he did not remember having observed before. The face in repose, or rather without the smile it usually wore, bore signs of weakness about the mouth. The whole of the lower part of it lacked the imprint of keen decision. There was something almost effeminate about
His chin is indecisive?
He has a weak chin.
Oh, God.
There was something almost effeminate about the mold of his full lips, something soft and yielding, even vicious. The rest of his face was good, and even intellectual. He was particularly handsome.
I'm sorry, are we doing fucking, what's the thing where you do the head bumps?
Nephrology? No, phrenology?
Yeah, phrenology.
Are we doing
phrenology?
We're doing phrenology, but for faces. And he is now observing Jim and saying, "This man don't have a strong will. He's a little bit weak and pathetic. I can see it in his lips. I can see it in his
chin. In his weak, womanly lips.
Yeah.
This girly boy."
Which really was making me think of the incels who are doing the look smaxing and the face smashing.
Yeah.
And it's like, this feels like Hollywood, where we cast certain people for certain roles because of the shape of their face. Mm-hmm. And that tells you whether they're good or bad. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is so dumb.
Yeah.
We could just see from their behavior what kind of person they are. But this book is so set on someone's look reflecting their inner person.
Yeah. I mean, it's really,
in a weird way.
Just kind of juvenile, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just shallow. Like, everything about it is shallow. All this guy cares about is how he looks and how everyone else looks.
Yes.
And how everyone else looks is defining their personality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So your chin changes your future. Okay. So Jim has asked Betty's uncle for her hand in marriage. Quote, "But all the luck hasn't come my way. I've talked to Parson Tom." Ah! Dave's ejaculation was ominous.
No, goddamn it. You can't have ominous ejaculations. You're not allowed. Why are you the childish one today? That's usually my thing.
It's technically the old-fashioned correct use of the word.
Yes, I know.
But, ejaculation.
I mean, yeah, it does make sense.
The first time I read that, I died laughing so bad. And I was like, Bam Bam will love this book.
It's just the combination of ominous and ejaculation. That... Yeah. What does that look like?
I have no idea.
It's just some creep around the corner and you just...
The reason for Jim's upset is the uncle won't agree to the marriage until Jim's sawmill is making more money, because he couldn't currently afford to hire an N-word as a servant. Hard R.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because the mill is small.
And it's not allowed to grow.
It's not allowed to grow. And so he's like, well, you can't earn enough money to take care of Betty with this mill. And he's saying
because Dave is like actively inhibiting it.
Yes. So Jim has no way of earning enough to please the uncle. Mm-hmm. And Betty is somehow orphaned. I have no idea what happened. We don't care apparently about her parents. She just lives with her aunt and uncle. And is
Dave like acknowledging how much power he has like in this situation, like in the town?
Oh no. He's just a businessman doing his best for everybody.
Yeah, and
it was on the second read through that I actually it was when I was doing the script that I realized Dave was responsible for the mill staying small. Because it's completely dropped. That one sentence at the beginning is the only time his power is addressed. And from now on, it's Jim's fault.
Yeah. And if he's this well-moneyed in a small frontier town, he is functionally the mayor.
Yeah.
Whether he's making big decisions
or
not.
He's basically king.
Yeah.
In this town. So
this is a high-powered political figure that is simping after a 20-year-old.
So,
but he's too fucking awkward to make it happen.
Despite owning this mill and having a way to make any money, Jim and the uncle decide that Jim will have to go to the Yukon and be a gold prospector to make enough money.
Yes. Gold prospecting. The most stable of jobs.
Yes. And the most stable of locations to live long term. And Dave thinks that isn't a good idea because he might fall into bad company among the gold diggers. And from looking at Jim's face, can tell he is of weak mind.
Well, what other options are there, Dave? You've already taken away any other opportunity that there is in this town because all there is fucking wood.
Yes.
In this location.
He offers to help Jim with the capital to start a ranch. So he's like, what if I give you some money to start a cattle ranch? And Betty says, no, Jim has to do this on his own to prove he's a man. Dave, take back your offer. Because Jim is like, oh, yeah, that could work. I could be a cattle rancher. Because he's not afraid of hard work. He's just trying to think of what realistic prospect does he have to make the amount of money Tom wants.
Also, that's silly, because in the beginning of the story, that's exactly what Dave did.
Was raise money.
Yeah, take out a loan.
Yes.
And start his business.
Yes.
The only difference is that Dave is the bank now.
Yes. But Betty says they won't accept charity as a start to life.
No, that's not what a loan is.
Right. But she's like, well, Dave is only doing it because he feels bad for Jim. And she's like, no, Jim, you have to do it on your own. And Jim is like, by golly, I will do it on my own. I'll go to the Yukon and I will dig enough gold to be your husband. And she promises to wait for him no matter how long it takes.
I see. So we have a character that is staked to someone else, but that person is not going to be around for the rest of the story.
Throwaway line at the beginning of the book, Jim is 18.
Oh.
So Dave is 32, has been an established businessman for 10 years. Betty is 22, has been a school teacher for several years.
And is now engaged to a 18-year-old?
That they're expecting to go raise all this money on his own? He's literally still a teenager. And they're saying you have to prove your love and devotion and care for Betty by going off by yourself to a different section of the country to gold prospect. Like, they're setting him up to fail.
I mean, it just shows how immature the character is.
Because, of course, an 18-year-old is going to say, oh, I can do that. I can conquer the world.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to think that. But the other people who are older and more mature should be saying...
Yeah, like Dave.
Yeah. And the thing is, his mill stays empty and unused for the next period of time that he's gone. It could have been making money the whole time. And it's not because they send him away.
Yeah.
And they don't put anyone in charge of the mill to make him money while he's gone. It's really stupid.
Yeah, so we're purposely making the other character stupid. Betty is making this stupid, arbitrary line. Jim is stupidly just going along with it, and Dave is just letting it happen.
And ignoring his own power in the situation. So we skip 5 years.
Okay.
Which would make Betty 27, Jim 23, and Dave 37.
Okay.
Malkern, which is their town, has grown steadily. Quote, behind this steady growth of prosperity sits Dave, large, quiet, but irresistible. His is the guiding hand. The tiller of the Malkern ship is in his grasp, and it travels the laid course without deviation whatsoever. The harbor lies ahead, and come storm or calm, he drives steadily on for its haven.
He's irresistible now?
Not in a sexual or lover type. He is a king.
Someone you can't say no to?
Yes. Yeah, he has so much business power that he is...
You cannot resist what he wants.
Yes. Like, he literally is the one who says, we're doing this thing in this town, and it is done.
Mm-hmm. Also, it is weird that the setup for, I guess, romantic tension is set up between... I mean, it's obvious, but... He's not getting set up with anyone his age. Like, it's only someone that is 10 years younger than him is like his entire pool as far as we know.
And we meet no other women, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, there's 3 women in this story. Yeah. This town is huge.
And one of them is his mother, and the other one is Aunt Lydia or whatever the fuck her name was.
Yes, Aunt Mary.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 women we know. Betty, Aunt Mary, and his mom. But Dave looks at this huge town that he has grown, he has built. Mm-hmm. He looks at his big mill and how successful it is, and it's not enough. He has to have more.
Okay.
There is a huge government contract that would be worth millions to provide lumber for new naval docks, and he wants that contract. So one day, Dave is visiting Betty and her uncle, Reverend Tom Chepstow, and her aunt, Mary Chepstow. Tom nonchalantly asks how long it's been since Betty heard from Jim, and she says 9 months. So this is 5 years after he leaves, and
4 years and 4 months ago, she stopped hearing from him.
Yes.
Or no, after 4 years and 4 months, she stopped hearing him.
Yes. And Mary is upset for her, but Tom hopes that the engagement will get called off so Betty can finally get married to someone else. She's the ripe old age of 27.
Yeah, her ovaries are going to rot.
Yeah, they're just going to, like, wither away. Mm-hmm. Dave has a letter from Mansell, Jim's foreman at the mill. And when Jim left, Mansell went with him to the Yukon because they were no longer running the mill.
Okay. And Mansell is just like his friend or something?
Friend, coworker, sure. Buddy.
Yeah.
And in the letter, he said that he had split from Jim, who was making money now, but, quote, would leave him to tell his own story as he had no desire to put anyone away. Implying...
So Jim's been making money and he's been doing bad things.
Yes. But I'm only going to give you a rumor. I'm not going to actually tell you anything directly. I just want you to think bad thoughts about Jim.
God.
Yeah, the triangulation. And this sounds ominous, but Mary has always believed the best in Jim. And Betty runs to get the mail, and Dave tells them that Betty learned about managing a mill, so when Jim comes back, she can help him run it. And she insists that Betty will wait for Jim.
Why isn't she just running the mill? No one else is running it right now.
Right, it's not being run at all.
Right, yeah, she could be making some income, getting some practice running it.
Instead of leaving it empty, it could have been running, doing small stuff for the town, which is growing. You could have had...
Yeah.
Furniture, like lumber for furniture, lumber for small houses, running the whole time and making some money. Even if you left a foreman who wasn't perfect at it, you would have some capital growing there.
Right.
But it's currently sitting with no one doing anything with it.
That is annoying.
It's a huge waste. And because Betty is a woman, she can't run it, and she's not actually married to Jim, so she can't actually do anything with it. But she had gone to Dave and learned all about running a mill, so when Jim comes back, she can help Jim run it because she'll have had education on managing a mill.
Right. But also, he's still not going to be able to make a lot of money off of it.
The idea is that he was saving the money he was getting in the Yukon and would come back with a big chunk of money, and that would satisfy Uncle Tom.
Okay.
The whole premise is stupid. Yes, the whole setup is kind of dumb. So Dave is saying Betty's going to wait for him no matter what. Quote, yes, and waste the best of her life, exclaimed Mrs. Chepstow. 1, 2, 3, turn. Dave smiled over at the rotund figure crocheting so assiduously. Although Mary Chepstow was over 40, her face still retained its youthful prettiness. The parson laughed. He generally laughed at his wife's views upon anything outside of her small household and the care of the sick villagers. But it was never an unkind laugh, just a large, tolerant good nature, a pronounced feature in his character. Parson Tom, like many kindly men, was hasty of temper, even fiery, and being a man of considerable athletic powers, this characteristic had, on more than one occasion, forcibly brought some recalcitrant member of his uncertain tempered flock to book, and incidentally acquired for him the sobriquet of the Fighting Parson.
Recalcitrant?
Recalcitrant, yes. That is a lot of very long, complicated words at one go. So that is how we learn the person of the parson, Uncle Tom. He laughs at his wife because what would she know outside of her little wifely duties?
It's, yes, of course, dear.
Yes. And he's supposedly kind, but he really likes beating up the men in his congregation who don't listen to him.
Okay.
And so we really glorify the fighting reverend idea in this man.
Yes, we want a strong man full of vitality.
Yes, and if he preaches at you and you don't listen, he'll just box you upside the head with the Bible, and then you will listen, and he'll drag you back to church and throw you down, and he'll hold you there. So I don't really like that character,
No,
but he is held up.
Sucks.
Yeah, he's held up as like
A pillar of the community.
yes. Who's also best friends with Dave. The uncle is the standard for benevolent patriarchy in that he manages his wife and niece and they listen to him because he knows what's best for them. But also he's in the pecking order in the village. He's at the very top, partly because he's best friends with Dave and partly because he's at this religious hierarchy at the top of the congregation. I've noticed a lot of right-wing people really love the idea of a fighting parson. Like, they really like the idea of violent
they like
preachers.
a firebrand preacher.
Yeah, who are like, will pull out a baseball bat and beat up a Barbie dream house.
Yeah.
And like in Mel Gibson's The Patriot, that one you had a fighting preacher who, and it's like, forgive me, Jesus, bam, murder guy. Like, it's just a thing that Christians really love having. Oh, well, we can, God forgives him because he's a preacher, but we get to watch him just beat the shit out of somebody.
Well, some people probably have a little bit of an insecurity about, all the love and peace that is in Christianity and following the words of Jesus, and they think it makes them look like a giant pussy.
Yeah, a lot of them really do not like the pacifism that was preached.
So they really like to lay on, the more violent tendencies in the Bible, because you can just take whatever you want out of the Bible and just, push it in whatever direction you want, because it kind of just says whatever you want it to say.
They'll glorify King David going and killing, everyone else and ignore what Jesus said about turning the other cheek.
Yeah.
So they changed subjects to the government contract for lumber. They need 90-foot timber, and Dave's company found a valley of old-growth trees, and he is hugely excited to cut down every 120-foot tree he can find.
Yeah.
Quote, "It's the greatest proposition in lumbering. It's one of the greatest of those great primordial pine forests which are found in the Rockies, if one is lucky enough. At present, we are the only people in Canada who can give them the stuff they need, and enough of it. Yes, I think I'll get it. I've set the wires pulling all I know. I've cut the price. I've done everything I can, and I think I'll get it. If I do, I'll be a millionaire half a dozen times over, and Malkern and all its people will rise to an immense prosperity. I must get it, and having got it, I must push it through successfully." Mary and her husband were hanging on the lumberman's words, carried away by his enthusiasm. There was that light of battle in his eyes, the firm setting of his heavy underjaw, which they knew and understood so well. To them, he was the personification of resolution. To them, his personality was irresistible. Everyone worships this man in this town.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's still unfuckable and no one loves him.
He's still ugly. So, millionaire in the 1800s is like today's trillionaire.
Yeah.
Like, it is an unimaginable amount of money. And he is like, well, if I'm prosperous, that makes everyone else better off.
There is something familiar about, like, this kind of financial power fantasy. Like, it kind of, do you remember when we did Dungeonborn?
Vaguely.
Yeah, it feels kind of similar to that. Because some people just really like seeing people succeed financially. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, it feels a little bit like a fetish sometimes. Like, people in modern society, modern America, are so enamored with being able to make money that it's just pleasing to read a story where someone is making it. And that is fucking weird. And I just had that thought, and I'm bothered by it now that I've thought about that.
I mean, capitalism turns into a religion for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the thing is, with this contract, if he succeeds, he will be a millionaire. But because of clauses in the contract, if he fails to deliver everything he's promised, they will put lots of like fees and fines onto him, and he will lose everything. So either he will be a millionaire or he will be bankrupt and the town will be destroyed. That's the premise of the story.
That's our stakes?
Those are the stakes.
Well, don't fucking do that.
But he must.
Why?
He has to.
You're risking everyone in the town. This is stupid.
Yes.
You're risking everyone in the town's well-being.
Livelihood,
yeah,
everything.
You're a selfish douche. I don't care how many people like you.
And he promises an unrealistic amount of wood.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't currently have enough capacity in his mill or enough men to deliver. Mm-hmm. But he makes these absurd promises for a government contract for lumber that...
For the sake of ambition?
Yeah.
Why? He doesn't need the money. He's already functionally...
He's already well off.
Yeah. What are you going to buy more in the 1850s? What more could you get out of life at that time?
We kind of come to that next.
Okay.
So the mail comes and Dave has won the contract. Woo. Betty has a letter from Jim. He's coming home.
Okay.
Dave hires 200 new lumberjacks and they have to upgrade the mill. And Dave's mom worries about him working around the clock, and she tells him that overdoing it isn't worth the money. Other people are telling him, like, killing yourself over this contract isn't worth it if you're dead or ill. Like, you're kind of doing too much. Like, this is a little absurd. And she only needs a son, not money.
You know what would be really smart to do at this point?
What?
Hiring a subcontractor. Hiring Jim and
His
Betty at their mill and subcontract them to do some of the work. Do we do that?
No.
Okay. Well,
Like, kind of later, kind of, sort of, but not really. Also, because he's the monopoly, everyone else who could work for him is not there because he's the only guy in town.
he's the only business in town, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, good. He's fucking dug his own grave.
yeah. So he has to hire 200 new lumberjacks, which are like green. They're like not good lumberjacks, but he's like, I have to just have every human body that can move doing work for me.
This kind of shows like where that selfish monopolistic ambition gets you, because it just lowers production overall. Because where Jim could have had some healthy competition around, some other people doing the job other than just him and his company, and, you know, they would have been able to... I don't think it's a good thing that they cut down more old-growth forests, but that kind of just shows how self-defeating a monopoly is.
So he is setting himself up with these unrealistic expectations.
For his own selfish ambition.
Yes. And his mom is saying, son, I need you to be my son and be alive. I don't need money. And he replies to her, quote, you'll have both, Ma, just as sure as sure. I'm not only working for the sake of the money. Sounds funny to say that when I'm working to make myself a millionaire, but it's not the money. It's success first.
Yeah, it's just for the sake of ambition.
I don't like being beaten, and that's a fact.
Beaten by who? No one is competing with you.
We Americans
You made
hate...
sure there were no competitors. Also, why you're in Canada?
Yeah, but
What does it matter about your American spirit here?
we Americans hate being beaten. Then there's other things. Think of these people here. They'll do well. Malkern will be a city to be reckoned with and a prosperous one. Then the money's useful to do something with. We can help others. You know, Ma, how we've talked it all out. He is a effective altruist.
Great.
Once I'm a millionaire, I can uplift everyone around me. I can make the world better by sucking up all of this cash and putting it in my piggy bank.
Even though he could have just been doing that the entire time.
Yeah, he could be equitably distributing wages among the people.
Or
that
not
he
actively
hires.
suppressing other businesses that could compete with his.
And that would require him to raise wages because they would have better wages.
Raise wages and lower prices.
Yes. So he's the monopolist saying, well, once I have all the money, I can do good things with it after that and make the city better.
Ah, yes. A financial despot. Great.
He gets told more rumors of Jim Truscott, and according to Mansell, a Sawyer the Sawyer that Dave knows, Jim was a gambler who ran games and scammed people. So Jim had gone to pan for gold and instead was ripping people off in rigged games. Betty hears the same rumors, and she believes them and feels like it's her fault for sending him away. And it's like, you can't control what he's doing, but also you were kind of asking him to do the impossible.
You were being pretty unreasonable.
Yeah, like this is kind of unreasonable expectations.
Not really, but yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. She's horrified at the thought of marriage, but feels she has to since she promised.
Well, that's stupid.
So one day she's talking with Dave on the bridge, and she tells him that she'll honor her vow. But he can see how unhappy she is. And she says that they must not ask Jim any questions about those 5 years. And she asks Dave to help Jim get his mill running, and they'll both start fresh.
No, I see it now.
Like
we've contrived a story where Dave gets to be the hero and save her from her previous nuptials.
So Dave agrees to help Jim, even though his heart is rent in half over, his love for little Betty, and she has to follow this because she's honorable. When suddenly a horseman comes galloping onto the bridge, and it gets startled by people standing there, which you're not supposed to gallop across bridges anyway, but whatever.
I'm guessing this is Jim.
He's
the hot rodding grifter now.
Yep. The horse rears, and the man starts screaming expletives, and his body falls sideways on the horse. So the horse rears, he starts screaming expletives with his coat over his head, and he's hanging off the saddle sideways. The words coming out of his mouth are so vulgar that Betty covers her ears.
I am just imagining a man being thrown from the saddle and just going, fuck, 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 fuck.
Yes, basically, yes. Quote, Dave sprang at the horse and seized the bridle with one hand. With the other, he grabbed the horseman and thrust him up into the saddle. The feat could only have been performed by a man of his Herculean strength. Cut that language, you gopher! He roared into the fellow's ears as he lifted him.
I'd rather him... What? A gopher?
Yep. Cut that language, you
God,
gopher.
What are you, 5? The effective altruist capitalist? Calling a guy a gopher?
Who works with lumberjacks.
Yeah.
You're
going to sit there and lie to me and tell me they have... Yeah. You're going to tell me those guys have clean language? Fuck you.
And the fellow rights himself, and surprise, it's Jim.
Yeah.
He's ugly now, unshaven.
Why does that matter?
Well, that proves
yeah, I know. We're obsessed with how everyone looks.
And his face is bloated because of his drinking. He's unshaven because he no longer cares for his appearance. And the cursing confirms everyone's worst fears. He has gone into the wicked den, and
he's a blackguard now.
He's a blackguard. And then he realizes who they are, and he apologizes and tells Betty he'll call later, and he takes off.
Well, you know what's going to happen now? Due to the ugly best friend effect, now that Jim is uglier, Dave now looks hotter.
Yeah.
And rich.
So it's 5 p.m. that day, and Betty has the tea ready, but Jim hasn't shown up. And she's quiet and really sad, and her uncle is like, are you actually happy that Jim is back? You're not acting happy. And if she's actually going to marry him, and she says to butt out of their affairs, because she's not a child. And yes, she promised to marry him, so she will. So he leaves to go get Jim, and her aunt comes in and asks if she's going to verify the stories from the Yukon. Before you marry him, you kind of need to, find out if the stuff he did was true, where are these stories coming from? Yeah. And Betty says she'll accept whatever Jim tells her, even if that's nothing.
Yeah, she's just a fucking rip. This is just the incel's idea of what a woman is and how a woman thinks, because, she's just going to buy into whatever the nice asshole thinks.
And we're very much having well, why is she with him when he's a dick? Why doesn't she hold him accountable?
Yeah, and she's just... This character is written with a very immature, naive mind.
Yes, she is a child. We are going to treat this woman as a child. Yeah, she's never grown. She's never changed.
And that's just how incels think of women. They can't, they don't think of them as having their own mature opinions on shit.
Yes.
God damn it.
So the aunt is upset. She's like, no, that's not the way you should do this. And then Betty asks if her aunt would ever confront Uncle about anything.
Oh, that's fair.
Quote.
But of course she's not, because he's the patriarch.
Quote, That depends, she said evasively. No, Auntie, it doesn't. You would never question Uncle. You are a woman, and just as foolish and stupid about that sort of thing as the rest of us. We must take our men on trust. They are men, and their lives are different from ours. We cannot judge them, or at any rate, we would rather not.
It's just too uncomfortable. I'd much rather just be destitute.
Why does a woman cling to a scoundrelly husband who ill-treats her and makes her life one long round of worry and even misery?
Desperacy and bad decisions and marrying them when you shouldn't.
And divorce not being legal? Mm-hmm. Is it because she simply has to? No, it's because he is her man. He is hers, and she would rather have his unkindness than another man's caresses.
Wow, that's really stupid.
Foolish we may be, and I am not sure that we would rather be foolish where our men are concerned. Jim has come back. His 5 years are his. I am going to take up my little story where it was broken 5 years ago. The stories I have heard are nothing to me, so if you don't mind, dear, we will close the subject.
No, Auntie, I was fridged. You don't understand. I functionally didn't exist for that 5 years.
Because, in fact, Dave has grown the mill, gotten big enough to get a government contract. Jim has gone and done things. We don't hear anything about her school. We don't hear anything about her life. She has no friends. She has been sitting in a windowsill for 5 years.
That's really funny. Like the story is still following around where that character is fridged at.
Yes.
In the background of someone else's story.
Yes.
That we're still around it, but she's still being fridged.
Yes.
That's so funny.
And you love him? Questioned the elder woman. But the girl had turned to the window. Like, she's just done with this conversation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if he's a scoundrel. It doesn't matter if I love him.
Yes, I'm standing by my man, whether I should or shouldn't.
Right. So I kind of am unsure if we're supposed to see Betty as a naive fool or a heroic, self-sacrificing heroine. I don't know. Because Dave looks at her as a pure, angelic being and understands she's following her principles, but everyone is also like, yeah, but why Jim? Yeah, but not Jim. Maybe somebody else, but not Jim. Yeah. Jim is obviously a bad guy.
Does she she ends up with Dave, right?
Of course.
Yeah. I'm going to land on the side of naive then.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like, I can see, like, that being, like, a merit of the character, but I don't think that's the point of why it's written this way.
Mm-hmm. Because the story is written from the benevolent patriarchy viewpoint. It is, men know better than women. Women don't know what they want or who they are.
They need a strong man hand to guide them.
Right. And so she is currently being guided by Jim, but because he's bad, the result will be bad.
Because he has weak, womanly hands.
And feminine lips. He got that lip filler in the Yukon. So Uncle is running back in a rage, and he announces they'll have tea without Jim because Jim was passed out drunk at the hotel. We move to Dave's mill, and he's making progress on the contract, but worrying about rumors of unions and strikes.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Equitable wages?
Yeah. And currently...
They're all going to gang up on him. He's just one man.
Yeah. Don't they know how the library he will build for them? Don't they know?
Don't you trust his promises of when he eventually gets to be a millionaire and has all the power over you?
And he's a stern but fair, hard on the men, but harder on himself. It's like, I'm running these men ragged, but look at how much harder I work than them, sitting here doing figures and writing pens, with my pencil awful hard. He's doing 14 hours of desk work while his men are chopping trees.
He wants to.
Yeah.
But they don't want to. They don't have, you're being a slave driver.
But because he's the hero...
He's pushing them to their potential or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, allegedly.
And his men adore him because the book is written from Dave's perspective.
Well, what manager doesn't want to think he's everyone at work's best friend?
Yeah.
Without realizing, everyone's talking shit behind their back and they hate him.
So he's sitting there and he needs more mill space because his mill is not big enough to fulfill the contract. It occurs to him that Jim has a mill that has been sitting empty. and unused all these years.
That's crazy.
And he decides to go talk to Jim about it. And he's thinking about renting it or buying it. He doesn't really care. Money doesn't matter to him at this point. He will throw money at this project to make sure it succeeds. Instead, he looks up and Jim is in the doorway. Jim was the first to speak and his manner was almost defiant. Well, he ejaculated.
Wait a minute. You're going to... What? Wait, who ejaculated here?
Jim.
Which one of these two men ejaculated?
Jim.
So Jim walks into Dave's doorway and he says, well...
Yes. He's literally just looking there glowering at Dave in his own office, coming in with an attitude. He's coming in hot.
That's fucking weird.
Well, responded Dave, and the newly opened waters suddenly froze over again. They measured each other, eye to eye. Both had the memory of their meeting 2 days ago, keenly alive in their thought. Finally, Jim broke into a laugh that sounded harshly. So they're sizing each other up as we're not friends. We're kind of competing here. And because Jim came in and behaved so badly, he needs to get on Dave's good side, but because he's such a scoundrel now, he can't even put on a good face to come and be apologetic. He's immediately defensive. Jim confesses to being a bad person in the Yukon and forgetting all about Betty to Dave. And he had gotten blind drunk and told Tom to go to hell, which was why Tom had gone running home in a fury. But now that he's seen Betty on the bridge, he wants her. He completely forgot about her, comes home, sees her, and realizes, oh, that's mine, I have to have her.
I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Quote, and now it has all changed. I have seen her and I want her. I love her madly and I've spoiled all my chances. She'll never speak to me again. I am a fool and a crook, an utter wrong'un, but I want her. I must have her. So he's a kid whose toy got left in the toy box, and suddenly Mom is packing a bag to Goodwill and we're having a tantrum because we lost it.
I see. Yes, but Dave is going to benevolently tell him that there's still a chance.
And he asks Dave to plead on his behalf. Mm-hmm. And because Dave is such a good, honorable guy, he agrees to do it, even though Jim just admitted to being a gambler and a crook.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's so concerned with being benevolent to this man who is, by everyone's account, a blackguard, a bastard, and a gambler, that he's just going to let his friend, Betty, fall into that?
Yeah, it's...
that's just dumb.
You shouldn't interfere at this point.
Yeah, this is none of your business. Either don't do anything or do the right thing.
And be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, don't lie on his behalf.
Yeah.
But Jim insists he's sorry, and no one can condemn him worse than he's done to himself. So the fact that Jim is sorry for what he did means it should all be forgiven and all be forgotten. Mm-hmm. Quote, and this is talking about Dave, the other suddenly rose from his seat and towered over him, meaning Jim. The look on his rugged face was one of mastery. His personality dominated Truscott at that moment in a manner that made him shrink before his steady, luminous eyes.
My dick is so much bigger than yours.
He's like a cat puffing out his hair.
But he's a man puffing out his dick.
Ejaculated ominously.
Ominously ejaculating into the room.
How have you earned your living? He demanded sharply. I'm a gambler, came Jim's uneasy reply, the truth forced from him against his will. You're a drunkard and a crook. I'm a fool. I told you. Dave accepted the admission. Then for God's sake, get out of this village and write and release Betty from her engagement. Oh. You say you love her. Prove it by releasing her and be a man. Dave's voice rang out deep with emotion. At that moment, he was thinking of Betty and not of the man before him. He was not there to judge him. His only thought was of the tragedy threatening the girl. But Jim turns around and manipulates Dave into agreeing to plead with Betty on his behalf, and Dave agrees. Despite this mastery and towering dominance,
he gets fucking duped.
Because Jim pulls the, you were my friend and you promised to help me 5 years ago. So he kind of pulls the, you have to fulfill this promise for your honor, and that's what he's pulling on Betty too.
Yeah, it's just a dumb standard.
And Dave
these characters are stupid.
realizes that he loves Betty, This is when he first realizes he's in love with Betty. And he thinks, well, if I don't help Jim, it's because I have a skewed perspective because I want Betty for myself. So he doubts his own judgment because he thinks he might do it for the wrong reasons. Jim promises to be on the straight and narrow, so Dave agrees to talk to Betty. Dave asks if he could lease or buy Jim's mill to help him succeed with the contract, and Jim says he'll think about it. And that infuriates Dave because Jim just pulled the friend card, and now Dave needs something from a friend to help him in his business, and Jim is like, I'll think about it, and leaves. So he's like, you're pulling the friend card to get what you want, and you're not reciprocating here.
Yeah, if Dave was a shrewd businessman, he would have leveraged that beforehand, but he's stupid.
Yeah. There's a church bazaar to raise money for Tom's church. So people bring in trinkets and whatever, and it gets sold, and the money goes to the church. Dave goes and hears a rumor that Jim started a gambling den in an empty house that Dave owns. And the saloon owner says that he sees Jim run games in his saloon every night. So they ask Dave what he's going to do, and he announces that he's going into the church bazaar to shop. He's not going to address this right now.
Strong man.
And Jim is running a faro bank, which was a game very popular in the 1800s, and it's easy for the banker to cheat. The dealer and banker is the same person.
Right.
And if they stack the cards a certain way, they're likely to win. And so it's known that people who run faro banks are like bad people. And it's a highly addictive, fast-paced game that people get addicted to. Dave goes into, he's mad, but he's like, nope, we're doing shopping right now. So he puts on a smile and he goes into the bazaar and he just buys everything in sight and then turns around and gives it to people who are standing nearby. Because he is the king with the money, throwing golden coins at the peasants today. He finds Betty, quote, at last he reached Betty's stall. She was presiding over a hideous collection of cheap bric-a-brac. With her usual unselfishness and desire to promote harmony among the workers, and so help the success of the bazaar, she had sacrificed herself on the altar of duty by taking charge of the most unpopular stall. Nobody wanted the goods she had to sell. Consequently, Dave found her deserted. She smiled up at him a little pathetically as he came over to her. So I guess it's a little competitive among the stalls at the bazaar of who sold the most stuff and who raised the most money for the church.
Yeah. Quick question. It's probably something obvious to most people. What is bric-a-brac?
You know knickknacks?
I know paddywhacks.
Well, if you give a dog a bone. Think Dollar Tree figurines that your granny collects.
Okay.
But these would have been handmade, cheap stuff your grandkids made that you can't bear to throw away because they drew a smiley on it, and then you try to sell it at a farmer's market and everyone looks at you with pity but it refuses to buy it.
I see.
So Dave announces he's going to buy the whole stall and lays down $200 and says, you can just put sold on all of it. But if somebody else comes along and wants it, you can sell it to them. I don't care. Because he doesn't care about any of the stuff. He's seeing that she's not selling anything. He wants her to succeed selling stuff, and he's throwing cash at everyone anyway. So he throws $200 on the table. And she's like, no, spend a reasonable amount of money on this stuff. But he is showing his benevolence, and it's a power trip.
Are we like just trying to circle around to where we're not just trying to buy affection? Like, are we just going in such a roundabout way trying to make it look like we're not and just doing that anyway? That's what it feels like.
It's like that's when she is extremely happy with him because it's for these charitable causes she cares about. So that's just what he keeps doing. Like, it's just weird. It's just a weird way of getting attention. He talks about Jim to Betty and says that some men go wayward because they don't have a good guiding hands to help them. Dave had his mother, but Jim didn't have anyone, and maybe Betty could be that for him. So this is him putting in a good word for Jim, trying to explain how Jim went bad. But because Dave had a mother to take care of him, that's why Dave is so successful and such a good person. And maybe if Jim had Betty, Jim would be a better person by having a woman to guide him and gentle him.
Did Dave's character have a dad?
No. And Jim had a dad who died. But we never hear about Jim's mom.
Right. I'm trying to make some parallels because It feels like very mama's boy, and he doesn't know what he thinks masculinity is or something, and he's trying to make up his own version, and it just happens to be just so tied in with making money instead of like an actual identity.
Yeah, and there is also this trope of like the woman who tamed him. You know, he was wild and partied, and then she got him to settle down.
Yes, he had
That's what we're kind of trying to sell Betty on.
fiery, burning ambitions, but she cools his burning heart or something.
And it's like also that the wife has to be the guiding moral person in the relationship. Puts unfair expectations on a woman who's given no power in the relationship.
Yeah, she's only got as much power as what is given to her.
Yes, and it's basically none. They get interrupted by someone saying there's a problem and Dave has to go deal with it. It's Jim and he's drunk. So we skip to the next day. The next day, Betty comes to a decision. Jim's public drunkenness was too much for her, and she's going to break it off. That was what she felt was the line in the sand, and he crossed it. Now she's done. Dave was unable to convince her, but she is just determined. She can't do it. She can't do it with a public drunk.
Okay.
She reflects on her feelings toward Jim versus Dave and feels fondness towards Dave, despite him interceding on Jim's behalf. Because she is kind of worried that she's going to disappoint Dave by rejecting Jim, because he was using his personal capital to encourage her to stay with her promise.
I see.
Quote, I love this quote. This quote is amazing.
Oh, God.
Her dreaming now became of Dave alone,
Oh, no.
and she found herself reviewing his life as she knew it. Her eyes grew tender, and she basked in the sunlight of a world changed to pleasant thought. His ugliness no longer troubled her. She no longer saw it. She saw only the spirit inside the man, and somehow his roughness of voice, manner, and appearance seemed a wholly fitting accompaniment to it. Her thoughts of Jim had gone from her entirely. The crisis which she was facing had receded into the shadows. Dave became her dominant thought, and she started when her uncle's voice suddenly broke in upon her reverie. Because women can only revolve around men. The minute one is gone, a new one must enter that vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. Therefore,
And a man has to be in a hole.
one dick leaves, another must come in.
It's also being written in such a way that it's like, oh, she's finally getting over her naivety and seeing that, his personality and his looks don't really matter. What matters is that he's very strong and has a lot of money. And that's the important thing, really. At the end of the day, it's only important that he has money.
Yes.
And power.
Yeah.
And security.
We're now going to overlook his ugliness. I don't see it anymore. And it's like, you've known him for a really long time. You guys were described as chums and friends 5 years ago at the beginning of this book.
Like, there's a reason you don't find him romantically attractive.
Right.
But we're not addressing that.
Right. That, like, because when you meet people, they can be in this ambiguous, I don't know. I could find them interesting romantically. But then there's people you meet and you're like, no. Look, kind of like you. Like when we met, we had clicked really good as friends. But never, ever thought of each other in that romantic way. We kind of automatically put each other in the brother-sister box.
Yeah.
And sometimes you meet people and they are just kind of automatically in your brain in this box of, oh yeah, that's a good friend.
Yeah. Some people just aren't in the romantic box. And
right.
Some people hate that.
But because we're doing this incel thing, it's, well, if I'm good enough long enough, I will move from friend zone into fuck zone. Like,
I can control someone's mind and put myself in a different box in their brain.
Yes. And her saying I'm in the friend zone doesn't actually mean it, because it can change. That is fluid. Whereas sometimes it's just not.
I can impose my will so hard that I can change their opinion.
So she lets her aunt and uncle know that the engagement is off, and she's going to go to Dave's office to confront Jim. So she wants to talk to Jim and tell him it's off, but she wants to do it with a group of people, but she knows Jim won't come to her uncle's house. So she decides if she goes to Dave's office and has someone go get Jim, Jim would show up at Dave's office. And she's right. So she's talking to Dave, and he sends a Sawyer to go for Jim. And she explains that she can't marry Jim, and she hopes Dave won't think badly of her and of her character because she's breaking her promise. And he tells her that she's doing the right thing.
Make up your mind. Pick a lane, dude.
Well, because I know. He's just so wishy-washy.
You functionally just lied to her then. You didn't tell her. You were trying to trick her. As effectively, weirdly, for reasons that don't make any sense. For Jim's benefit. And no one else's. Not hers, not yours.
Right. So Jim comes in, and seeing Betty, he's filled with passion and desire because she's just so pretty and beautiful. And Betty points out that he never came to see her or talk to her. Supposedly, her fiancé shows up in town 3 or 4 days later, has never spoken to her. That
That's a pretty big complaint.
is pretty much implying
valid.
he has no interest in you and is refusing to see you. She, as a single woman, can't be going to his room at the tavern in the 1800s. Not a socially acceptable thing to do. He, at any point, could ride up to her uncle's house and speak to her, or see her at her schoolhouse, or see her in town. It is his prerogative to seek her out, not hers. She points this out to him, and suddenly he realizes he had still had a chance. And now it's gone. And it was his own behavior upon getting into town. He thought, oh, I've screwed up because of the screaming expletives. But now she's saying, you screwed up because you didn't come see me. And then you were publicly drunken and yelling and shouting. Yeah, I'm calling it off. We're done.
I don't dislike that part.
I don't either, because it finally sounds like it is reasonable for her to get to a limit.
Yeah, there's some insight within the scope of that situation.
And I appreciate that she does have a somewhat reasonable line in the sand. You never came and saw me. You never apologized to me. You never did any of these things that would be expected. I don't want to marry you now.
Hey, you know who also doesn't want to marry you?
You, I hope.
I mean, yeah, but these ads just want to be your friend.
Oh, fuck, they're friend-zoned. Better
We're
help.
friend-zoning Purple Mattress. We can't go all the way with Purple Mattress.
Yeah, it's too hot in here. Let's have an ad break.
Hello, bad book loving friends. Just updating our socials. We're on Blue Sky now at bugs-bibliowrecks.bsky.social. We have a Substack at Bugs and Books, and the profile name is Bugs at BiblioWrecks. And of course, our website, BiblioWrecks.com. Drop us a message and check out the content that Bugs works on. She's really good at the social stuff. And let's get back to that bad book. And we're back from divorcing Purple Mattress.
So we did get married, and then we divorced.
Right. That's not true. We're in a toxic...
Parasocial relationship?
Yeah, we're in a parasocial relationship with Purple Mattress, actually.
Oh, that's worse. Okay, so we're still in the office with David, Jim, and Betty. And she was saying how you never came to see me. And Jim's response is, well, you never sent for me. Which isn't even true because her uncle went to get him to bring him to tea.
Right.
But it's like, well, that was your uncle. That wasn't you.
Oh, that doesn't count. My goalposts are suddenly over here now.
Yes. And he wants to blame her. And she tells him that they're both better off free. And the marriage couldn't be happy. It wouldn't be good for them. They should not try to do this.
Yeah, valid.
Valid and reasonable. Quote, and Jim is talking. But I won't give you up, the man suddenly broke out. He had passed the narrow limits of his restraint. His face flushed and showed blotched in the sudden scarlet. For a second after that first fiery outburst, no words came. Then the torrent flowed forth. Is this what I went away for? Is this what I have slaved for in the wilds of the Yukon? Is this what I am to find now that I have made the money you desired? No, no, no. You can't get rid of me like that. You don't mean it. You can't mean it. Betty, I want you more than anything on earth. He rushed on, his voice dropping to a persuasive note. I want you, and without you, life is nothing to me. I must have you. He took a step forward. But Betty glares at him, and because he's weak, he backs off. And
yes, much like a cheetah on the Serengeti, the lion or the lioness just walks toward him, and the cheetah knows it's really weak and inbred, so it just backs up, and it has a very small chin.
But because Jim is not willing to be held accountable for his actions, he decides that the drunkenness is just an excuse and she must be in love with somebody else. He turns around and Dave's there, so it must be Dave.
God damn it.
And then he decides it must have been Dave all along. You both set me up.
I mean, to be fair, when he went on this trip, he was 18. And that's really unfair to do to an 18-year-old, to send them on a trip to make an immense amount of money, and then when you get back, change your mind. And also expecting them to stay the same after being gone for 5 years. Like, this was just set up to fail.
Yeah.
And to fuck over Jim.
Yeah. Like, none of it was reasonable. And
It's
his
a very
behavior
silly
was
scenario.
unacceptable when he got back. But from his perspective, he is, well, I wasn't good enough for you then. Now I'm not good enough for you now, even with money. You're impossible to please. It must have been somebody else. Dave, you never even stood up for me. You never stuck up for me. It was your plot all along.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, that's kind of true.
And as much...
Dave is the one with the most power in the situation.
Yeah.
And also, he's 23.
Yes. He
now.
is very young.
Yeah.
Like graduating college young. Like he has his whole life in front of him and they're acting like he blew it and his life is over. But he has loads of time to get sober, run his mill, run a business,
Right.
do other things. But everyone in this is acting like...
Yeah, it's acting like this was like a 15-year gap instead of like
Yeah.
a 5.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's acting like everyone else is a rational adult in the situation, but everyone is like varying levels of adult. Because treating someone that's 23 as if they're on the same level as someone who is almost 40, that's silly. That's unfair. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And we do feel like Jim is being compared to Dave over and over and over, whereas Dave is 37, has a successful business that has been running at this point for 15 years.
And Jim very specifically doesn't because of Dave.
Yeah, he cannot have a successful lumber mill in this town.
Jim doesn't exist in a vacuum here. He's in the same space with Dave, and Dave is sucking up all of the opportunity in the area.
And Jim had gone from being the son of a man with a mill to an orphan and sent away. Far, far away. But because he's now, hurling abuse at Dave and Betty, Dave throws him out of the office and chases him away. Then Dave realizes what he did, and he apologizes to Betty for throwing Dave out. Quote,
For throwing Jim out?
For throwing Jim out. Quote, I'm sorry, little Betty. I'm real sorry, but I just couldn't help it.
Some things just can't be borne, even by a strong man like me.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, I don't like this guy. And here's an example of a formatting issue.
Oh, God. Yeah, chapter 10 is at the very bottom of the page when it starts.
Yeah, like all you needed to do was add a paragraph break, and it would have been at the top of a new page. And I was just like, really?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Somebody could have just gone through and done a little bit of formatting.
Yeah.
So we shift to more capitalism propaganda, because we haven't had that in the last couple of chapters. We were
Right.
dealing with love.
I mean,
On to better things.
treating capitalism as it was in the 1800s compared to how it is today is also super unfair because, yeah, capitalism works great when there is a underclass to take advantage of and there are nearly infinite resources. There are more resources than there are people to extract those resources. Capitalism works works great for that.
And it works great for our main character who's on the top.
Yeah. Just like capitalism always does. Capitalism still does that.
So I have a quote. There was no 8-hour working day in this lumbering village. The lumberjacks and all the people associated with it worked to make money, not to earn a mere living. They had not reached that deplorable condition of social pessimism when the worker for a wage believes he is the man who is making millions for an employer who is prosperous only by his, the worker's, capacity to do so. They were working each for himself and regarded the man who could afford them such opportunities as an undisguised blessing. The longer the time, the higher the wages, and this was their whole scheme of life. Besides this, there is a certain pride of achievement in the lumberjack. He is not a mere automaton. He is a man, virile, strong, and of a wonderful independence all his own. His spirits are animal, keen of perception, keen for all the joys of life such as he knows. He lives his life, whether in play or work. Whether he is a sealer, a cant-hook man, a teamster, or an axeman, his pride is in his skill, and the rating of his skill is estimated largely by the tally of his day's work, on which depends the proportion of his wages. None of the socialism or communism got into these folks' heads.
Yeah. There's not a disabled person in this village.
No, every single man is able-bodied, has all of his limbs.
None of them have an affliction that they can't help or that people feel sympathy over.
But it's very much these men know that they're valuable based on how much they put out, and they don't work just for a living. You know, they do it because they want to, and they're strong, good men. It's like the stupid interview questions of like, you bring up salary and they're like, well, we don't do this because of the money. And it's like,
We do it because we're a family.
Yeah. Or this is your passion. Teaching is a passion, don't you know? That's why you should make, $35,000 a year. But this is it's so preachy.
And has nothing to do with what we're doing in the story. Like, this is the subplot for the romance, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Like, this doesn't really matter.
But it becomes more important as we're working through the government contract. Because he is paying these men what he believes is an equitable amount. And the book is saying, and these lumbermen accept their pay and work hard because they're good people. And they accept their lot in life.
But then the union comes in and ruins everything for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds very familiar.
It feels kind of like these paragraphs were taken out of a sermon and just inserted into the chapters. Yeah. It doesn't match the rest of the story. This kind of thing happened a lot in Atlas Shrugged, too. I don't know if you ever read that one. No. But it would have periodic detours of just...
diatribes.
Yeah. Very bad writing.
Yeah. It does seem very familiar. I only know a handful of libertarians personally, and both of them are the sons of men who own businesses.
That makes sense.
So they very clearly have a bias.
Yes.
And in the instance of one of them, recently his dad died. Very sad. I liked his dad a lot. But recently he's started to come around to a, more normalized perspective, less libertarian, because, now he's not a heir to a business and is now actually working a regular job. So now he's come off of a lot of his very libertarian viewpoints now. Right. So, yeah, very obvious biases. I would guess that this guy, this author, has some kind of bias in that area.
Yeah, that's how it feels. I'm a Nepo baby, but I deserve to be. Look how hard my dad...
I worked hard because my dad made so much money.
In this chapter, Jim lures his friend Mansell to his hotel room with brandy, the drink, gets him drunk, and talks him into a scheme. Jim is going to get a lot of money for his mill from Dave, and he promises to give all of that money to Mansell if Mansell will do a favor when Jim wants him to.
That's a very loaded setup.
Yes.
Mansell was an idiot for accepting this.
Because he doesn't tell him specifically what he wants. He's just procuring a promise of something.
I can't tell you what, but you have to do it. You have to do it. Do you promise? You promise?
Yes.
This is so 5-year-old.
Yes. But because he's pretty sure he can get $20,000 for his mill, he offers the $20,000 to Mansell. And Mansell is drunk and stupid, so he says, yes, if I get all that money, I'll do anything.
And so he's going to get told to kill Dave.
Essentially. But he tells him to get a job at Dave's mill. And because Mansell was a good sawyer and a foreman at the other mill, it's very easy for him to get a job. And Dave is hiring anyone who can stand up and hold a saw. There's more stories of strikes in the papers. Dave gets news that there is mountain fever in one of his camps. And that could be devastating because he's already on such thin margins of success. He goes to Tom and asks if he will go up to the camp and help them with the fever. Because in addition to being a fiery preacher, he is also someone who they trust to doctor people. And Tom agrees. He also has a letter of apology from Jim, and Jim agreed to sell the mill for $20,000. So Dave is like, oh, he's repentant. This is his olive branch.
Why is Tom being the go-between?
I don't know. Because there's only 6 people who live in this town, apparently.
Yeah.
Literally, for such a big town, and you could have so much color and flavor, we only have 6 people who talk.
I see.
Mansell is the one who went with him to the Yukon, the one who came back, the one who will be the pitiful peon, because there's 6 people who exist. So Dave is walking down the road, and Betty comes by in a buggy, and she gives him a ride. And he shows her the letter, and she's confused why Jim would apologize to Dave instead of her. And it never occurred to Dave. Why would anyone apologize to the little girl? And he says that Jim wants $20,000 for the mill, and she's like, isn't it worth like $10,000 to $15,000? Dave, why would you sell it? Why would you buy it for that amount of money? You're just too charitable. And so they decide to ride together down to the mill and do an inventory. And they realize that it's more like worth $10,000. And Dave is like, how do you know all of this? And she's like, you're the one who taught me mill management, and I've been paying attention when I visit you. But she's a little woman, so how would she know any of this stuff? And she's like, I learned how to do this to help Jim run this mill. He's like, oh yeah, to help another man. Oh, pity.
Friggity who.
Yeah. So she is talking about the mill and inventorying it. And Dave is impressed with her for remembering all of the stuff he taught her. So he is impressed by her.
Oh my God, you're not a naive idiot.
Yes.
I'm so surprised that a woman is not a naive idiot.
Yes. So here's a quote. The girl's eyes were dancing with pleasure. Somehow the desire for this man's praise and approval had unconsciously become part of her whole outlook. Her simple honesty would not let her deny it, showed her no reason for denying it. She sometimes told herself it was just her vanity. It was the desire of a pupil for a master's praise. She as yet could see no other reason for it, and would have laughed at the idea that any warmer feeling could possibly underlie it. So she doesn't know she's in love with him yet. She's feeling the desire for his praise and attention, but is in denial that it's because she loves him. This is just so manipulated to just jerk Dave off every single page.
Yeah, no, it really is. God, I hate the way books written like this feel.
Yeah.
Because it just feels, the other characters are just engineered to try to make Dave look good at every single turn.
He's just the perfectest boy.
Yeah.
And she asks if she can come watch his mill, the big mill, running at full tilt, like full production, so she can just see what it looks like. And he agrees. So she drops him off at his house, and his mom asks about Betty and when Dave might think about marrying. So he howls about how ugly he is and no one could ever love him. Boo hoo hoo. And she points out that she's old and doesn't want him to be left alone. And he's like, what? You're not sick, Ma? Oh my God, you can't leave me, Ma. And she's like, okay, let's
You're the
go
only
eat.
one who will fuck me.
Have you seen this face? My mirror tells me every day. There's just printed on the mirror, you are fugly.
This just reminds me of that like really early SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob thinks he's ugly. And it turns out he just smells bad.
Oh, that's funny. I'm just imagining like something like The Naked Gun or something where people are like, oh, the mirror tells me I'm ugly. And then you see the mirror and it literally printed on it as words. Or a button that you push that says, hello, Dave, you are ugly.
Have you seen the new Naked Gun with Liam Neeson?
No, but I want to because
It's really good.
I saw the ad and I was like,
I thought it was going to suck and it was hilarious.
It looks like it would actually be funny. I was like, that would be a movie to get high and watch.
My favorite part of that movie is Liam Neeson is introducing himself. Or no, he walks in and someone sees him and they say his name, but he thinks they're introducing themselves as his name. And he's like, me too. And Liam Neeson, I don't know why him saying that is just so fucking funny.
Doesn't he play it dry the whole time? He goes
Pretty
in
dry,
and just...
I mean, very similar to Leslie Nielsen.
Okay,
yeah.
I never saw the old one with Leslie Nielsen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the only way those old movies worked was with Leslie Nielsen and his dry as a bone delivery.
But Liam Neeson really is good at just dry,
Yeah, he's only ever played serious characters, and he's perfect for this.
Yeah, yeah. I want to watch that at some point. After we do this episode.
After we do this.
We got to get through this.
After we do 2 more hours of recording for this.
I'm trying. So Mansell gets the job at the mill, but he's only allowed to work if he's sober. Mm-hmm. Betty and Tom go to see the mill, and Tom is ready to go up to the camp. And this is the first time Betty had heard of the fever because they've hushed the fever in the village because it could worry people.
They're suppressing the news.
Yes, they don't want anyone to know about the fever because if it causes problems with the government contract, everyone's bankrupt and dies, right?
Yeah. No, Dave just is being a politician. This is politician level power and concerns.
She decides that she has to go with Tom up to the camp. And they're like, a woman among these men? No, what will you do, little girl? And she's like, they need nursing. They need a woman to help them feel better. Mm-hmm. You men don't know how to make them feel better.
I see.
They need a feminine touch to increase their healing. Mm-hmm. And because...
We can't have a penis being a nurse. We have to, the tender care of a vagina to make
Well, and we also know Tom
better.
is the fiery brimstone preacher who knocks people's heads together, so he probably would be like, take this, damn you, and get better, by God.
I mean, the problem is he's using the power of prayer to,
So
to heal the sick. And
she tricks them into agreeing to let her go up there. And they argue with her, but she wants to go. They show her the mill. She's amazed and then humbled.
Like God damn it.
Because his mill is so big and so amazing, it changes her whole perspective. So now she's in awe of Dave.
Okay, but the other one was Dave's mill too.
Going to be, but it's small.
I mean, it was
Jeff's.
originally Dave's mill.
True. Yes. And there's a huge fire going with all the waste wood. Mm-hmm. There's a fire that is 40 feet tall, being fed by all the waste. And they're both like, why are you burning good wood? Mm-hmm. And he's like, everyone's free to take as much waste wood as they want, and they use it to burn in their wood stoves, but this is what's left over from that. And so but they're both in awe and amazed by this fire because there's just so much production.
See, I feel like Betty being amazed by Dave's workplace. That feels like when a guy tries to show girls video games and you're just like, oh, if I just present it the right way, they'll know how amazing this video game. They don't care, guy. Mm-hmm. They don't care, my guy. No one cares.
Well, this woman is impressed by Dave because
good woman.
His ego.
She's a good woman because she is interested in his interests.
Yes, and amazed by what he does. Mm-hmm. So she thinks it's all amazing. Dave replies that it's really dangerous, and most sawyers are missing a finger or two, but the real risk is a broken saw or a fire. Mm-hmm. And that's what he worries about all the time. So they realize it's late. It's time to go to the camp. Betty says she's going to get her things and talk to Mary, and they don't want her to go. And honestly, it wouldn't be comfortable for her as the only woman to be in this lumber camp. But because she no longer has Jim, I think she just wants to like get out of town and go do something else for a little while. Fair. And that's kind of understandable. So they're kind of like, they still don't want her to go. And she answers them, quote, "She answered their challenge at once, but now there was a great change in her manner. She no longer laughed at them. She no longer carried things with a high hand. She intended going up to the camps, but it almost seemed as though she desired their justification to support her decision. Somehow that tour of the mills at Dave's side had lessened her belief in herself. Yes, she said, I know neither of you wants me to go. Perhaps from your masculine point of view, you are both right. But I want to go. I do indeed. This is no mere whim. Uncle, speak up and admit the necessity for nursing. Who on earth is up there to do it? No one." Then she turned to Dave, and her earnest eyes were full of almost humble entreaty. "You won't refuse me, Dave," she said. "I feel I must go. I feel that someone, some strange voice, is calling me to go, that my presence there is needed. I'm only a woman, and in these big schemes of yours, it is ridiculous to think that I should play a part. Yet somehow, oh, Dave, won't you let me help you, if only in this small way? It will be something for me to look back upon when you have succeeded, something for me to cherish, this thought that I have helped you even in so small a way. You won't refuse me. It is so little to you, and it means so much to me." So this is kind of like her pivot point. This is her arc in the story of she is so overwhelmed with Dave's mightiness that she wants to support him and help him in his work. But because she's a measly, pitiful little woman, the only thing she can do is nurse the lumberjacks up at the camp.
Yeah, she's just being made small by this entire
She feels small. And she's now begging for the chance to help him. And she has been shown her proper place in the world.
This great work of lumbering.
Yeah. They're building naval docks, which I guess are important. Sure. But this is not... We're putting such heavy stakes on this.
On business.
Yeah. On chopping down the great trees. So they agree. Dave is like, well, just stick among the sick guys. Don't go among the regular lumberjacks. They'll eat you for dinner. And she promises.
Oh, one other note. I have noticed all of these quotes are so long.
I'm sorry, but they...
No, like, I'm just mentioning that like as a symptom of the writing.
Right.
It's so long-winded to say anything.
That could have been 2 sentences.
Yeah.
That's part of what takes this book so long and why I was struggling so hard to choose the quotes.
It's using a lot to say very little, and it makes it drag so fucking much.
Yeah, this book just felt like it took forever. This felt like purgatory.
Yeah.
She promises, and so, quote, he says, "Go and get ready, little girl," he said gently.
Ew.
She's 27, and he's just constantly saying, "little girl."
Ew.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
She starts walking home, thrilled at the thought of helping Dave in his endeavors of being a great man.
She finally has a purpose in life.
She has a purpose in life.
Dave's dream.
Yes, because before teaching kids at the school was unfulfilling, and we don't need to hear about that. Now she has a purpose.
She had nothing important in her life.
She was fridged, as you pointed out.
Yes.
And now she realizes that she is excited because it will be helping Dave. Because she loves Dave. And she is so excited. Quote, she wanted to be his slave, his all.
Ooh. No. Brother, no.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, like she has been taken now to, I would rather be his slave than somebody else's master. Like she has debased herself so entirely
and
now.
that's like such a fucking turnaround from how the character like started off as, because like at the beginning she was almost like kind of bullying Dave.
Yeah, bossing him around and saying, hey, give me money for this thing.
Yeah.
And sit down on the lintel, which is not the right spot. But anyway, moving on. Like she has this imperious thing, and now seeing his mill has caused her to debase herself in her mind. Dave is mighty. I am little. I am silly. I am stupid.
Oh my God.
And I really hate it.
That feels disgusting.
And now she feels scared because there's no way he could love her. She's always been his little chum. He's always been like a brother. There's no way he could love little old me. All I can do is help him with his business, and maybe he'll look at me sometimes.
Yeah, again, she's still too naive to know that he's a desperate fucking incel.
And she's turned into a
that
pick-me.
thing people can't just fucking smell on you. Ugh.
Yeah, so now she's a pick-me, and she's startled by voices in the dark, and it's Jim and Mansell discussing their evil plot. Evil plot. Doing evil stuff. Evil stuff is the best stuff. And Jim is reminding Mansell of the deal, and Betty thinks they mean to rob someone at the mill. So, like, she doesn't understand because they're just doing some, remember that evil thing you promised to evil? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, maybe they're going to evilly rob somebody. Like, she doesn't know what they're talking about, but it sounds evil. So she proceeds to go home, and she decides to tell Dave and Tom. When she gets home, she tells Mary about going to the camp, and Mary's furious. How could my little girl go to among these scary lumberjacks? But she can't stop her because she's just a woman, and Tom said yes. So Betty packs her own bags and then runs to go pack all of Tom's bags because she knows her uncle can't pack for himself.
Why?
Because he's a man, and he won't pack his own clothing. But she's also being a good woman.
I see.
So they eat a quick dinner.
Debasing herself further, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
They eat a quick dinner, and Tom says that he ran into Jim on his way home, and Jim was very repentant and begged forgiveness, and he was going to start fresh. Betty doesn't believe it because of the conversation that was evil, but decides she must have heard it wrong, so she doesn't say anything to Tom.
Well, I'm just a naive, stupid woman. I couldn't possibly suss out the machinations of a man.
Basically what she said to herself. Yes. And she doesn't want Tom to keep thinking badly of Jim if Jim is actually starting over and turning a new leaf, blah, blah, blah. And like I was saying earlier, the book is full of these random quotation marks, and I mostly ignored them. And this one just was like, yeah, this is a good example. Quote, these men were not the best of lumbermen, but under the, quote, camp boss, they would help to keep the work progressing, which in the circumstances was all that could be asked. And it's like, camp boss is just a thing. It's just a title, and it doesn't need emphasis.
Yeah. Unless you're saying it ironically.
But they're talking just about a camp manager.
That would make them the camp bottom.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
We are at the mill one night, and it's been about 2 weeks since Tom and Betty went to the camp. The foreman is angry that Dave said to hire Mansell if he's sober because he'd been out drunk for 6 nights, but came in tonight sober. So he's like, why do you have him on the roster if he is allowed to just go get flaming drunk, not work, and then just come in whenever he wants to? And Dave is giving him the benefit of the doubt, but he also needs every single lumberjack, man who can work in a lumberyard that he can. So he's like, so long as he's not drunk, he won't destroy anything. So just keep him on when he wants to come on. And the foreman is like, this is not how to run a business. And it's like, well, okay. Yeah. He also doesn't trust Mansell. He's suspicious of him.
Yeah. Also, it's like that toxic work culture. This is your purpose in life, is to work this job. You can't just work a job and be content with, whatever amount of money you get by just working the amount that you want. And it seems like the story looks down on that kind of attitude. Yeah.
Also, it has a very prohibitionist, teetotaler attitude towards drinking. So if someone drinks, that makes them a bad person.
Yeah.
Just in general, the story is very strong against drinking. The tally is short for lumber, and fewer logs are coming down the river. So that makes the foreman and Dave nervous. And it could be the fever, and it could be how green 200 of the sawyers are. Dave says to use up the reserves, because he has a big reserve of logs that have been set aside. We can pull from that, but since we're getting less, we're going to run out of that eventually. But the idea is he is content to send shorter logs that are too short because the stuff in the reserve isn't the 120 footers. It's better to run shorter logs that are not quite adequate, but to keep the saw running, because if the mill stops running, everyone in the town will be worried and upset.
I see. So we're lowering our quality.
Yes, to keep things running, to keep up the appearance of okayness.
Yeah, this really is capitalism, though.
Yes.
We're lowering our quality so that we can meet this imaginary number.
Yeah, and Dave is kind of like, if the stuff is too short, nobody will know but us. Like, we don't have to deliver quality right now.
Yeah, we're the only
pinched.
ones that are concerned with the quality that we're sending down the river.
To a government contract. No one there knows how to measure things.
I see,
They're
yeah.
government. Dave goes to a little room in the corner to a cupboard to get some paper. It's a little supplies room or something. And he hears a weird noise. And he knows what the mill is supposed to sound like. So he's standing there going like, what is that? And then it kind of goes away. And so he's like...
Fucking ghosts.
Like, what was that? But it went away, so maybe it's okay. And then there's this huge shrieking, grinding noise.
Of the saw exploding?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he is in the cupboard, and he, like, jumps into the cupboard. And these logs come crashing in and, like, lock him into the cabinet. Another beam is thrown, and it... like pins him by the chest to the wall. I think the end of it is supposed to be pushing on his chest against the wall. And he can't get it off of him. And that's a very awkward, like, you can't push away from yourself from that angle. And he hears people yelling fire. So he is pinned.
Shit's on fire.
Shit's on fire all around him. Beams have been thrown. Logs are being thrown everywhere. And he says, God, give me strength! And with superhuman force pushes the log off of his chest, even though it rips the flesh from his chest.
And then all the men clapped that were in the lumber mill.
I keep thinking of Samson.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite stories when I was a kid.
Is that why you grew your hair so long? So
I want to be stronger.
So he's free of that beam. He goes running out into the middle, disasters everywhere, and he yells that they'll get $500 if they get the fire under control.
I'll solve this with money. Obviously, because capitalism is always the answer.
And not just men are at work and afraid of fire and they're gonna try to fight the fire. Like, humans in groups will generally try to stop the fire. That's kind of and they work there, like, but yes.
I mean, the problem isn't really that they don't have incentive to put out the fire. The problem is that everyone is panicking and lack organization. You offering $500 to everyone is not going to make them suddenly more organized.
And it doesn't make, like, movement go faster. Men are still running around trying to get the hoses, get water. And because a saw broke, stuff got flung everywhere and destroyed.
There's probably people injured. Everyone is probably negotiating in their head what the triage situation is. Do we treat the people that have exploded saw in their face, or do we put out the fire?
Right. So
obviously Dave's priority is the fire because all his shit is getting burned. I don't know if there are any people that have exploded saw in their face, but it doesn't seem like Dave is looking for them.
Right. This is probably kind of petty of me, but I want to read this little section. Quote, he reached out over the chute. Dawson threw the nozzle, and as Dave caught it, a stream of water belched from the spout. So in my mind, I'm thinking a firefighter hose, and it has the spout on the end, like the old-fashioned ones. And he reaches over a chute, but he spells it S-H-O-O-T. And chute is spelled C-H-U-T-E. Chute means bang bang or projectile or push or that kind of thing.
The way I've always seen chute spelled was S-C-H-U-T-E.
Well, like chutes and ladders, it's C-H-U-T-E. that was just another thing of this guy didn't have a dictionary because I
Yeah.
looked up shoot, and they do sound the same.
See, my context for shoot is like a chute that a bull is in, like a chute before they let the bull go out in an arena. But I'm pretty sure I have seen the spelling CHUTE more often, probably.
SCHUTE?
I mean, that's how it's spelled in my mind, but I'm pretty sure I don't know if I've seen that spelled anywhere. That's just what it is in my head, is how to spell it. But I think you're probably right. It's probably spelled CHUT.
Yeah, that was the standard spelling that I understand. But that was just another one, and he repeatedly uses the word shoot, SHOOT, when it's indicating a trough or a conveyance to move items from one space to another.
Right.
And so it's really petty and stupid, but kind of like lentil. I'm like, couldn't you have just looked this up in a dictionary?
Yeah. I mean, I'd feel pretty permissible with the word shoot because you hear it said your entire life, and if you don't read it, you wouldn't know.
I guess so. And where this seems like it was just maybe not edited, maybe self-published. It's just one of those petty things where I'm just like, why are we doing unnecessary quotation marks and we're doing bad spelling?
Yeah.
I'm like,
It just kind of
It's
fits
just
into the
annoying.
general shoddiness of how it's put together.
of how I'm feeling toward this. They put the fire out, and the foreman comes running and tells Dave it was sabotage. It was Mansell, and we have no idea how the foreman knows, but he was already suspicious, so it must have been Mansell.
Do we really not go in any, like, they just know? They don't go into it at all?
They go looking for Mansell, and they finally find him, and over the course of the next several hours, he admits everything. He tells them the whole thing.
I see.
But it's just kind of funny to me that the foreman is immediately, it was Mansell, he did it. No proof. And then that was right. It was just, how did you get there?
Right.
So Dave sends the foreman one way and Dave goes the other. They find, he finds the blade that Mansell was on, the saw, and he sees little marks in it, like he had taken a file to it, and he's like, oh, it was sabotage. It was Mansell. Here's proof. And then they go find Mansell, and he is like crushed under a beam. It's on his lower back. The entire mill is in ruin. Everything is like destroyed. Rollers are destroyed. It's a disaster. And he's like, why would Mansell do this? So they find Mansell. Dave picks him up like he's a child and carries him to his office. And he sends the foreman for the doctor and tells him not to let anyone know it wasn't an accident. Because he's like, he doesn't want anyone to know it was sabotage. And so everyone starts cleaning up. Everyone's fixing everything. And Dave is sitting there stroking his chin.
His big, ugly chin.
His big, ugly chin.
His big, ugly, trustworthy chin.
Why would Mansell do this? We've never had harsh words. I've never done anything wrong to him.
Yes, connect those neurons.
Maybe somebody else was...
Who does Mansell know?
Yeah, maybe somebody else was in on
There are
it.
only 6 people in this town.
Exactly.
Who could it possibly be?
And Mansell makes a noise, so he lays him on a pile of furs, and then he just goes back to work. He spent 2 hard minutes thinking, but he has no time to think. He has to go work and clean up his place.
The hamster on the wheel got tired.
4 hours later, he returns to his office, and Mansell hasn't moved, but he's still alive. So Dave bandages himself because he's been bleeding out of his chest the whole time, and he should be dead. But because he is a superhuman superhero, he's not dead. Anyone else would be dead.
I see, of course.
And he bandages himself. He gives some brandy to Mansell, which revives him. Manson tells him that Jim said Dave would get killed. So Mansell and Jim came up with the scheme. He saw Dave go into that room, and that's when he did it so that Dave would die.
Right.
Then he says, am I dying? And Dave says, yeah. So he keeps giving him more drink because it's like, you're dying. There's no reason not to give you all you want to drink. And Mansell's like, I'm dying. It's coming. I'm cold. And Dave covers him up with a blanket and then gives him as much to drink as he wants. And there's a very long death scene, which I'm just going to skip. But it's kind of like the repentant thief on the cross kind of scene. And I'm sorry, you never did anything to me. And it's okay. You'll go to heaven.
I just
You're
did it for these
repentant.
30 pieces of silver.
Yeah, kind of. And
because you're Jesus, Dave.
Yeah, and you don't deserve it. So Dave tries to comfort him, and then he dies, and it's whatever. Dave goes back and works some more because he's superhuman and not fainting.
It's like, well, this man is dead. Back to work.
Yes.
Because that's all that matters.
Yes, the mill is the only thing that matters. And he works until breakfast, and then he goes to eat, and he nearly faints because of all the blood loss. And finally, he's allowed to be human now that he ate some food. And he falls asleep at his table. And then he wakes up at 2 p.m. and is shocked that he slept through the morning. He wasted all this time, all morning long sleeping.
Super interesting main character who's just obsessed with working at a lumber mill. This character is just fucking awesome. He's not a miserable fuck that I'm just absolutely sick of.
Right. And I really do hate the narrowness of scope in this story.
Yeah. And like it's fine if, if you've got like a normal narrative that's representing real life, but that's all this guy fucking cares about. That's fucking boring. Cuz as passionate as he is about this, it's so fucking attainable. This level of
Obsession.
Yeah,
it's not healthy.
and like he's just obsessed with being a manager at a lumber mill. I feel like that's incredibly attainable.
And he was already doing fine.
Right.
He's the one who put himself in this position of an unachievable goal.
Yeah, and I don't give a shit if he fails at it or not.
Right. So this scene is kind of funny, but also an odd thing to do. Jim comes to the mill and Dave sees him through the window. So he's sitting there at his desk pretending to work, and he invites Jim to come in, and then he sits there pretending to be busy. And he sees in the news that the train strike is over, so that's good for him for moving his lumber. But then he's reminded of the state of his mill and the shortage coming down from the camp, so he looks up at Jim and asks if he changed his mind about going east. So Jim is walking into this disaster, gets ignored, and then gets asked, "Why aren't you out of town? Why are you here?" Jim is like wondering how much Dave knows, is surprised to see Dave alive. And so both of them are in their head scheming about the other one. And so Dave heard about the smash, and he's wanting to ask, and Jim starts talking. He had come to apologize to Dave and set everything right, and Dave just doesn't say anything. And then Jim finally was like, "What happened?" And Dave tells him it was Mansell. And so then he's like, "Well, what did Mansell say?" Did anyone say anything?
Is he about to telltale heart himself?
Like, Dave is, like, being, like, really evasive. Like, he was dying, hard to tell what he was saying. And so then Jim feels like, oh, Dave doesn't know, and starts calling Mansell all kinds of names, and a drunk, and a coward, and an idiot for
I never believed
destroying
anything he
things.
ever said, in context
Right.
or out of it.
It's kind of like we're trying to do political
Intrigue,
but these men are also stupid.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
They're stupid, and the stakes are stupid.
Yeah. I don't care about any of this. So Dave finally points at the corner because Mansell died and they covered him up with the pile of rugs. And he's like, "Look under the pile of rugs. Do it. Pick it up." And he picks it up, and "He's dead," Trescott whispered the words half unconsciously, and the tone of his voice was almost unrecognizable. It sounded like inquiry, yet he had no need to ask the question. "He's dead, poor fellow," said Dave solemnly. Then after a long pause, the other dragged his courage together. He looked up into the face above him. Did he say why he did it? Or was he? It was a stumbling question which Dave did not let him complete. "Yes, he told me all. The whole story of it. That's the door, lad. You won't need to shake hands now." So Dave is springing on him that he knows everything, and so the whole thing before was pointless.
Well, what's the point of the intrigue then? If there was some ambiguity to Dave knowing,
Right.
then there's some point to him being evasive. But if he just knows...
Yeah, and is now just, haha, I got you, I know, but go away and leave and don't come back.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do anything
no
about
consequences.
it. Right, we're not going to do anything about this. I just know.
Yeah.
And now Jim knows he knows and he leaves. We move up to the lumber camp with Betty, Tom, and Mason, the camp manager. She tells them that she saw two seedy, slicker-looking lumberjacks in lumberjack clothes walking on the path, and they told her that she and Tom need to leave by tomorrow night or they would not be answerable for the consequences. She pointed out that they were caring for sick men, but the two guys laughed at her and didn't care. They didn't want a girl and a well-respected person to get hurt, and then they left. So we have two men come up to Betty and say, we're scheming evilly, and if you don't want to get caught in our schemes, you better get out of here, little girl. Like, all of these intrigues are so badly done by everyone. And Mason tells them that none of his letters he'd sent downstream have been answered by Dave. And the men are working, but 30% are scabs and slackers. And it's like, we hate the scabs, but we hire them because we can't get enough good lumberjacks. So this sounds like it's your own fault for getting a contract you can't fulfill without hiring bad people who can't do the work. This is just self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Tom wanted to preach at the little general store, the camp store, that night, but the store owner sent a note saying the boys wanted it for a sing-song, so he can't have it. And Tom is furious. He's determined to hold his service. By God, they can't stop me from preaching. And Betty points out that maybe there's hints of trouble in this message because she just got this foreshadowing, get out of here, there's going to be trouble. Hey, Uncle, maybe there's going to be trouble that I just told you about. Quick quote, Mason gave her a quick glance of approval. Though he did not approve of women in a lumber camp, Betty's quiet capacity, her gentle womanliness, with her great strength of character and keenness of perception underlying it, pleased him immensely. He admired her, and curiously enough, frequently found himself discussing affairs of the camp with her as though she were there for the purpose of sharing the burden of his responsibilities. In the ordinary course, this would not have happened, but had she come at a moment when his difficulties were many and trying. And at such a time, her ready understanding had become decided moral support, which was none the less welcome for the fact that he failed to realize it. That very long paragraph is simply saying Mason is using her as moral support and he doesn't recognize it. She's just doing all of the emotional labor for everyone around her.
As is a woman's place.
Yes. Basically,
you have to be in the kitchen and you have to manage all the men's emotions.
Yes, and I find it interesting the book points out the work she's doing and points out that the men don't recognize it or appreciate it. That just bothers me.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I see it, and I don't care. You're supposed to do that.
It was like that one time I worked really hard on cleaning the kitchen. And that's where we walk into the house, is the first room you walk into from the back porch. And my husband got home, and I was like, oh, did you see the kitchen? I cleaned it. And he said, yeah, I saw it. And I was like, ugh. And then my children were there, and they were like, it looks good, Mommy. Because they recognized I was trying to get a little appreciation.
Yeah.
And it's just that exact thing, but summed up in this paragraph about this poor woman.
Yeah. No, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, no. So the three hear a carriage go past on the road. And that's strange, because you don't normally have people going to and from the lumber camp. Mason decides to investigate, and he puts a revolver in his pocket, and Betty asks why his investigation needs a gun.
Because men, and we might have to kill something when we're looking into something. Why does he have a gun?
He answers her, quote, it's a handy thing to have about you in dealing with the scum of the earth.
Oh, my God.
Lumbermen on this continent are not the beau ideal of gentlefolk.
Hold on.
But when you are dealing with
Wait a minute. No, I thought we were dealing with the hardworking, independent hero men, patriarchs.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But now, all of a sudden, they're scum and deserve to be shot because of it.
But when you are dealing with the class of loafer, such as I have been forced to engage lately...
Oh, it's only the lazy people you want to shoot that you feel the need to shoot. What the fuck?
Well, the real lumberjack becomes an angel of gentleness by contrast. A gun doesn't take up much room in your pocket, and it gives an added feeling of security. You see, if there's any sort of trouble brewing, the man in authority is not likely to have a healthy time. So he's like, well, you mentioned there might be trouble, and since I'm the camp manager, if there's trouble, they're going to try to get me, so I got to shoot them first.
Yeah, all this reads as shorthand of, I'm scared everyone's going to get mad at me, so I'm going to carry a gun to make myself feel better.
Yeah, we see it especially in the last bit of the novel. We have this dichotomy of, we have good lumberjacks who are good at heart, and then we have not lumberjacks who are working in it just for the money, who are evil scum of the earth.
I see.
They're both doing the same job, but one is true and good and one is fake.
So when Dave does it to be a millionaire, he's good.
Yes.
But when some of them, when the people below him are doing it for the money, they're bad.
Yes, and I don't know if this was a cultural thing.
Only when they're rubes that are willing to work themselves to death are they the good lumberjacks.
And it kind of
But
feels...
the ones that expect standards and shit and aren't gonna work themselves to death over a job they don't care about, those are the shitty ones.
It feels like we're doing No True Scotsman, kind of, because you can't tell the difference between them from the outside.
It's like how we were talking about earlier when businesses say things like, oh, well, we're a family here. And that's kind of cult language. And if you're not part of the cult, if you're not indoctrinated or a true believer, then you're an outsider. You're an interloper. You're an infidel.
Right. Like we have this cult-like in-group, out-group, but all of the men are just doing the same job. Some just aren't true believers.
Right.
Yeah. And so... But reading it, I'm just like, well, how can you tell? How would I be able to look at any one guy and know he's a good lumberjack versus a bad lumberjack?
Whether they suck up to the camp manager.
Probably.
That's right.
So Tom and Mason decide to go investigate. Mason advises Tom to give up the service, and he finally agrees, but he brings his own gun because he's a fighting preacher. They tell Betty to bar the door, and they'll be back in an hour. And she's worried that it's a strike that's going to happen, and it will ruin Dave. So she sits sewing and thinking about the ruin that he'll come to with a strike. Quote, she tried to think wherein she could help this man who was more to her than her own life. She bitterly hated her own womanhood as she thought of those two men bearing arms at that instant in his interests. Why could not she? But she knew that privilege was denied her. She threw her sewing aside, as though the effeminacy of it sickened her. Oh, Dave, why can't I help you?
Why can't I be a man?
It was the cry that rang through her troubled brain with every moment that the little metal clock on the desk ticked away while she waited for the menfolk's return. And it's like, so you want to be a man so you can help him, but you love him. But no homo.
Right. So we're both feeling like Dave is kind of self-inserted, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's my assumption.
Yeah.
So we have a woman who wants to be a man, at least in this moment. This feels kind of gay.
Yeah.
This is feeling a little gay.
It's kind of like the Andrew Tate thing that having sex with a woman is gay.
It's kind of adjacent to that, isn't it?
Yeah. Also that a woman can't just want to be a woman and also do these ambitious things. You can only want to be ambitious if you also want to be a man.
Ambition is a male trait.
Yes.
Only. You
Right.
can only have that if you have testicles. Ambition just doesn't fit in your body anywhere unless you have a ball bag.
Right, exactly. So...
God, I am fucking vulgar, aren't I? This is why my personality is so repugnant.
Tom and Mason get to the general store and spy on the sing-song, and it's lumberjacks talking about a strike. And we've heard how everyone else talks. Now we get to hear how the unionist striker lumberjacks talk. It's kind of funny. I'll try. Okay.
All right, let's hear the straw man speak.
You're a fool, a measly-headed fool, tyke, one of them was saying, with a heat that held the two men listening. You ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't got no kick coming from us. I'll allow that, sure. But if by kicking we can drain a few more dollars out of him, I say kick and kick good and hard. Them as fixin' this racket knows, they'll do the fancy work. We'll jest sit around and take the boodle as it comes.
Yep, that was about as straw manny as I'm expecting.
None of them can say a complete sentence or finish the word
they're just uneducated and greedy. And that's just how the top views everyone below them.
That's how all the strikers talk. So basically, there's professional trade unionists who are telling the jacks that they will handle the strike and all the jacks have to do is stop working. Because you know how there's the conspiracies of some billionaire paid these people to go protest.
Yeah, the George Soros.
The George Soroses. Basically, that's who's behind the strike. Some evil rich city kid came in with money and is paying them to strike because we can only have an evil conspiracy. These men can't genuinely want
these
more.
people have a valid complaint.
Right. That would be impossible.
It could only be that they're greedy and evil and they're being paid off by someone else who is greedy and evil.
Right. And they'll just wait until Dave gives in and gives them lots of money, and then they'll go back to work, and they'll have the money from the evil billionaire and money from their future millionaire boss. Win, win, win for them.
Yep.
And then who comes up stage to encourage everybody but Jim Truscott, the man in the carriage, who is the one funding all of this since he didn't have to pay Mansell since Mansell died. So now that $20K is going toward strikers and unionists and stuff.
I see.
But the man who owns and runs the general store is a dirty Jew.
Oh.
And it gets pointed out multiple times.
Okay.
It's just because we need to throw in some anti-Semitism.
I mean,
we need some color in there.
That's so out of left field.
Yeah, and I up to this point I hadn't known we were anti-Semitic, but yeah,
you're on the frontier of Canada. You didn't necessarily have to have a Jewish character. Like, that's just explicitly for commentary. So that sucks.
And it doesn't have any relevance except for the fact that he is for the strikers, and then the strikers destroy his store, and it's what serves him right for being on their side. Because he's dirty and gross and they're dirty and gross, and so they tear each other apart and deserve each other.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it's even more like, we're going to punish this character and say he's a Jew.
I see.
Yeah. Ugh. Mason and Tom are like trying to figure out their options because the unionists are sitting there doing their evil plot, and Mason and Tom are sitting there listening in, hearing all of the evil. The unionists plan to take Mason, Tom, and Betty prisoner and have a general strike. Mason decides to steal the carriage and flee with Tom and Betty. Tom wants to fight because he's just a fighting preacher, but agrees to go with them. So Mason manages to steal the carriage, and he shoots someone in the process. They're going back down the mountain. Someone jumps into the carriage behind Mason, tries to throttle him. Tom jumps in, throttles him. It's Jim Truscott. He was causing all of the strike, and in the shop, strike, let's be evil. And then they catch him, tie him up, and Mason takes him with him in the carriage down the mountain.
Yes, our bad guy has to be for strikes because, strikes can't be for, reasonable reasons.
Right. And part of my struggle with this book was I didn't think any of the romance stuff mattered the first time I read this book. It's flavor. I could just describe it in 2 words. Doesn't matter. Then you get to the end, and he had sold his mill to Dave. He takes the whole amount of money and invests it in the strike. He pays these people to strike because he hates Dave for stealing Betty. So we have to do all these machinations and extreme, strategic plans to cause a strike to happen to Dave because Dave is so pure and good.
I see.
It could not organically happen. We had to set it up in such a way that Dave is still the victim.
We can't have our perfect boy be at fault.
Right.
He can be ugly, but he can't be at fault.
Right. So we have to go with just pure revenge in order for Jim to be motivated to do this. So Betty's like, we can't go. We have to take care of these men, and the carriage won't be big enough. The horses will be tired. We'll slow them down. Mason can go just by himself. They're going to just bunker down. They'll take care of the sick people. They will stay out of it. They're like, Mason, he's the camp manager. He's at risk. We should be fine because we're here just helping the sick people, right? Betty is still waffling back and forth on what she thinks about Jim, because Tom is like, why would Jim spend money on this strike? Why would Jim be part of the strike? And Betty says they should pity Jim for his human nature and they should help him. And this pisses Tom off. He basically says Jim doesn't need any pity because the strike will hurt Dave. This will cause problems in the town, and the strike will harm the lumbermen.
Right, but so does Dave's needless risk-taking with his business. It's the same thing. We're just letting it go because that's ambition, and Jim's reasoning is just purely... Well, both of them are purely selfish, but Jim's is just out of revenge instead of ambition.
Right, but this is kind of... This is where we're dealing with the premise of what is man in this section. If you let men loose without the hand of guidance,
without a strong daddy.
Yes, what will happen? If men are let loose without a job to do every day, what would they do? What is their natural state? And we can guess it's anarchy, because the idea of, oh, we're going on strike, hey, let's go lay down in the creek and relax for a little bit, that would never happen. But this is Tom explaining the rest of the book to us. Here's the quote. Do you know what this strike means, child? Before it reaches the outside of these camps, it will turn a tide of vice loose upon the men themselves. They will drink, gamble, they will quarrel and fight. And when such men fight, it more often than not results in some terrible tragedy. Then, like some malignant cuttlefish, this strike will grope its crushing feelers out from here, its lair, seeking prey on which to fix its sucking tentacles. They will reach Malkern, and the work will be paralyzed. So he is saying that...
I mean, it's treating...
the men will become animals if they are not kept in line.
Right, but not only is it saying that, it's like it's treating workers striking as if it's like in the same way that America treated communism.
Yes.
Like they're afraid of like some runaway domino effect.
That was actually my mental image too, was the commies.
Yeah. And which is so weird because we've already lived through that history. Like, in America, we've already done strikes and stuff like that. And, like, it wasn't a domino effect spread of people never working again.
Right.
That already didn't happen?
Right. We have proof. We know.
What weird fantasy is this? Because this was written contemporarily, right?
Right. It was published in 2016.
Yeah, this is just someone's weird economic fantasy about business and how strikes are exclusively evil.
I know.
Because it's not even saying, like, this particular situation with this particular strike is bad.
Right.
It's just treating all strikes like this. It's so weird.
So we go back to Betty, and she wails about how she loves Dave. Why can't she help him? Why can't she be a man? Boo hoo hoo hoo. And we've already done that enough times to know. She just progressively gets more obsessed with him and hating herself for being a small, pitiful female.
I see.
It did remind me very much of Gone with the Wind. These speeches that these people make over and over. I'm like, did you read Ayn Rand and watch Gone with the Wind before you wrote this? Oh my God. Like, can you just say something in 2 sentences, please? So Betty and Tom barricade the door, and they're in a dugout, so it's a building built into a hill, because inside of it is where they store the dynamite. And they have, like, that's where the weapons and ammunition and all that stuff is. So they have, like, a sod roof and a chimney and a little window that's facing out and a door. They're kind of worried, but, like, we should be fine. And that night, a group of men come, and Tom yells at them. And two of the men come in, Tom lets them in, and they say that when Mason was stealing the carriage, he shot one of the guys. And would Tom please doctor him up? And they say, we'll leave you alone, just doctor up our guy. And they agree, so they patch him up. And so then the next day, Betty sees a big fire in the camp. And that's when the Jacks have all started doing the anarchy, and they pull everything out of the general store, catch it on fire, and they're all just drinking. They just found every barrel of drink, and they're just drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. Like fish. So now we know that the evil strike has descended. Yes. And the men...
We're strictly following our baser instincts and just destroying shit and getting drunk.
We're stealing everything we can get a hold of. We're drinking everything. We're eating everything. No one has a thought for tomorrow or a care for themselves. Tom gets really worried because he's like, well, if they're drinking, they're going to start raping.
So did they talk about, like, what they wanted out of a strike?
More money.
And why couldn't we do that?
Because no one actually talked to Dave, which is a core part of the problem.
Yeah.
And later when Dave talks to them, he's like, you never even talked to me. You did the strike before talking to me. And it's like, well, Jim paid us to quit working, you know. It's all Jim's evil fault.
I see.
And that is like not how a strike works. You go with, your proposition. They deny it. You go on strike. You negotiate until you end the strike or whatever happens. Or the military comes in and shoots everybody.
I mean, there's also that, if you're in West Virginia.
Large parts of the country that's happened. All of the people, the men who are drinking, are literally described as brutes, demons, and beasts that are no longer human. Like the language is just completely dehumanizing. And Tom runs back and tells Betty she must not leave the dugout under any circumstance now. We move back down to the valley. Mary and Dave's mother are talking, and Mary is worried about not getting letters from Tom. Do we care about a description of Dave's mother? I can summarize, I think.
Yeah, if you want.
The first sentence is the best description, quote, "The pivot of her life was her boy." This entire section is about how her life is devoted to Dave, and she is a pure good woman because she adores Dave, and nothing in her life matters except Dave, and Dave is the apple of her eye and the source of her life. We never heard a husband. She never had a husband.
Right.
Dave never had a dad. Like, she never had a hobby.
There's something Freudian about this. I can't quite suss out what, but I don't think I want to either.
And this was when I realized that there are three women in this story. Mary, Betty, and Dave's mother. And that's Mother, Maiden, and Crone. And Dave's mother is never given a name.
Huh.
She is literally nameless. She is Dave's mother. She exists in the book only in relation to him. And I was just like, good God. I mean, the writing is good, but it's so angering.
Yeah. So I'm guessing not passing the Bechdel test.
Well, let's see. Every conversation has been about a man.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
between any character.
Most of the women that talk on their own, if they ever do talk on their own, they're usually talking about Dave or Jim.
Or Jim. Or Dave and Jim. And I just kind of repeat some of my points here that I said earlier is that Mary is there to take care of Tom. Betty is there to originally care for Jim and now Dave. And Dave's mom is there to care for him. And it's so interwoven. that
women need to be taking care of men, but men need to be in charge, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless they're Jim. I don't know. It's just like the entire story wants to be authoritarian. But even within the story itself, it has a reason not to be authoritarian. Because, just giving it to the book that Dave is a good guy. If you went authoritarian and you got a Dave, that works out fine. If he's actually benevolent and all that good shit, that could potentially work out fine. Or you could end up with a Jim, like Betty almost did.
And this is where I wanted to talk about how patriarchy is bad for men, because it puts men on a hierarchy too. You have women below men, but then you have men below other men, because we have to have these standards of value. And you see that in the manosphere. You can't get a woman if you're not 6'1", making $100,000 a year with a chiseled jaw, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that is patriarchy putting outrageous demands on men that don't matter.
Yeah. And it leaves men incapable of being able to take care of themselves. It leaves them requiring that from somebody else, regardless of whether it's a woman or not.
And it's really infantilizing. Patriarchy is infantilizing towards men because it doesn't hold them accountable, and women are taught that they have to care for them just like you would a baby.
But at the same time, it also infantilizes women because they're not responsible enough under that system to be able to make their own decisions for themselves or anyone else in the situation.
So it's really bad for men
it's bad
and
for
women.
Everybody.
Yeah, and we just happen to see Dave is the main character. We like him, therefore he comes out on top. People like Jim aren't worthy.
Yeah.
And so because he couldn't make it, he couldn't pull himself up by his bootstraps, he is not worthy of a woman. He has failed to acquire the wife.
But the story just, it wants authoritarianism to be the answer because it just wants Dave to be the one in charge because he's a good guy. So, I don't know.
It's kind of like that idea of, having a king is really good when you have a good king. And it's like, no, having a king is bad. This is why we don't do kings.
Yeah.
It turns good men bad if they were good to begin with.
Right. And that was just giving the story that Dave was a good guy. I think we've covered clearly enough why we don't think in this story
he is a good guy.
Dave is a good guy.
Yeah. Like he already is becoming a bad millionaire.
I mean, I think he was a bad guy from the beginning.
Probably.
From the beginning of the story.
Probably. But it's like that idea that people will try to say, well, we want a king because if it was the right one, we could do whatever we wanted with these good things. And it's like, no, the system is bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, it goes back to the original idea of a dictatorship back in Rome, because just having one leader that everyone has to listen to makes things simple. And things, just whether they get done effectively or correctly, they get done and get done quickly.
So we're down in the valley. Mary and Dave's moms are talking about their respective people, and this is when Mary realizes that Dave loves Betty, but Betty doesn't know. So we're kind of getting a little matchmaker between the moms. The mill stops running, and that's what everyone's been worried about because of the illness, and then the mill got busted up. They finally ran out of all the backup wood that they had been waiting on. And Dave is devastated because now people know that he's failing. He was able to hide it. Yes, he was able to hide it while the mill was still running, even if he was putting stuff out that wasn't the right length. That was okay because only he knew. Now everyone will know. And now everyone is going to question him like, what's going on?
Yeah, he's not...
He's no longer in control of the narrative.
Right. And he's like insecure and not being the one that's totally in control, not doing everything correctly, not being right about everything. So that's so weird. Like, that's so close to being like aware.
He's very micromanaging too. So he suddenly remembers that Betty is up at the camp because out of sight, out of mind. And then he decides, he realizes I haven't gotten any letters from the camp, from Tom or Betty or Mason. Now I'm not getting any wood. I've ran out of wood. I'm going to go up there myself. I have to go rescue Betty and bring Betty back with him because he doesn't know anything. He's just mentally jumping to random worries.
We just need him to go to somewhere else in the story, and we need to try to justify why. But
even though we didn't need to, because just this minute, Mason comes down with Jim in the carriage and tells him everything that's going on. Huh. We didn't need to do any of that stuff. This could have been the motivation, but Dave has to preemptively decide things himself. He can't be, he has to foresee.
He can't be pushed into a decision. He has to make a decision.
Yes.
God, this is so weirdly insecure.
Yes. It was another ejaculation joke. I'll skip it.
I appreciate that.
Mason catches Dave up on everything. The camp's on strike. They're still sick. You gotta go save Betty.
All these guys are sick. Save Betty.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we getting like doctors or somebody to come up there and
we sent Tom up, and that's all they need. I don't know. I know. I'm like.
Also, wasn't that Betty's job?
Yes, but we must save Betty. Dave confronts Jim with all of the stuff that's happened. And like, what's your motive? I always helped you. And this is when Jim reveals, Dave was no friend. He stole Betty, blah, blah, blah. Here's my motivation for hating you and ruining your life. I will spend every breath destroying you. Giant man who can kill me with a word.
I've received my catharsis now. Goodbye.
And Dave is like, well, I'm going to be ruined. The whole town is going to be ruined. And Dave's like, good. Because Jim's like, good. Because
he's a caricature of just evil men.
Yes. With the soft, effeminate lips. Mm-hmm. Dave decides he's going to take Jim and Mason with him in the carriage back up the mountain.
Okay.
We're just doing some Indiana Jones airplane up and down this mountain. So they gather all their stuff. They pack Jim back up into the carriage, and then they go back up the mountain.
What Indiana Jones movie were you referencing?
Isn't there one where you see a plane fly across a map during one of the scenes, and it's like the little dots along the map, and then it goes the other way? Also, that happens in Bugs Bunny a lot.
I think there's been a lot of like jokes where like the line will like dot back and forth, making fun of those scene transitions from Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how I imagine this carriage, because literally it had just gone up with Jim. Mm-hmm. It comes down with Mason and Jim.
Also,
it goes directly back up with Jim, Mason, and Dave.
Also, Dave just left, and now he's going back.
No, he's still been in the mill. Now he's going up. Mason is the one who came down. The mill is where
Betty was, or is this a different mill?
No, Betty's been in the camp the whole time, way up the mountain with Tom.
At the lumber camp.
Yes.
Okay.
So Dave was deciding, I have to go save Betty.
Okay.
And now they are going. And they literally take the same carriage each time. We go back to the camp where Tom and Betty are. They've been holed up in the dugout, and Tom had originally been going out for wood and water and stuff, and then a gang of jacks tried to grab him and forcibly make him drink to intoxication. And he had to fight them off because they were trying to get him drunk and run away. So he gets back to the dugout, and the gang descends on the dugout, originally to get Tom and make him drink. And then they remember there's a woman in there. Yeah, I'll shorten the quote a little bit. They were no longer strikers. They were not even men. The spirit taken from the burning store had done its work. A howling pack of demons had been turned loose upon the camp, ready for any fiendish prank, ready for slaughter, ready for anything. Those untutored creatures knew no better. They were powerless to help themselves. Their passions alone guided them at all times, and now all that was most evil in them was frothing to the surface. Sober, they were as tame as caged wolves, kept under the bludgeon of a stern discipline. Drunk, they were madmen, driven by the untamed passions of the brute creation.
There are stories where you can play with that kind of thing, like the depths of depravity that men will go to. Kind of like...
I mean, in war, men become beasts like this.
Blood Meridian, where, you know, you're going into subject matter where men are desperate enough to literally functionally cannibalize a race of people to make money. But
there's no motivation here to do
this is a really strong reaction to, hey, we got paid by somebody else to
stop
working. It just, it doesn't quite track.
No, it does not at all.
I feel like this guy has like a really low opinion of just people in general. And I feel like there's some arrogance going on from this author's perspective. Like, I imagine he probably feels like he's better than most people.
Yeah, and it's trying to elevate the working man, but instead it's really just debasing and dehumanizing them.
Yeah.
Because we kept trying to use this
Dave's
pure
work
language.
ethic,
of these men are angels and fantastic and the best, and then we turn around and they're brutes and they're disgusting, and so, but the motivation of whether it's just a job or if it's their calling seems to be the dividing line.
Yeah, that's just fucking weird.
But while this is going on, both groups are acting the same way.
Yeah.
The lumberjack and the scab are both behaving in the same manner as a group. They get on the dugout and they try to tear off the roof, but Tom shoots at them. So then they beat on the door and Tom shoots at them. And they finally place burning tar at the bottom of the door and smoldering oil rags against the cotton windows, which smokes them out. And they don't have an exit out the back, so they have to try to put it out, and they can't, so they come out. And the men are just...
You know what would have solved that? A strike over safety precautions.
Which, I
like
mean...
with the shirt factory strike.
On the one hand, though, they are storing, like, the dynamite, so there is, like, good reason for that to be stored in tunnels, but a second exit would be a good idea. Yeah. I don't know if that place is meant for human habitation either.
Like, there isn't supposed to be a lot of people in there.
Right. This is supposed to be where storage is, and they were not housed there. They were not given housing, because housing in these big lumber camps was, like, communal. Like, you had cots within a building, and so they can't put them in the sick building, and they can't put them in the healthy building, and so unless they had some kind of housing for, like, the manager or something else, there wouldn't really be any place to put them.
Right. I was just trying to make a strike joke.
Oh.
Because that famous shirt factory that caught on fire because they locked all the doors.
Yeah. So Betty and Tom come coughing, choking out, and the mob can grab them. But here comes around the corner Dave to rescue and save them, just in the nick of time. Because we can't actually let anything happen to Betty's virtue.
Right. We can't let her be devalued, because then she won't be worthy of Dave.
Yep, and Dave will not.
And then we'll have to have another female character, and it's just too late in the story for that. The only other option is his mom at this point.
The book will never end, and then I'll die. Dave is able to intimidate them with his bigness and loud voice, and so they leave, and Tom and Betty jump in the carriage, and then they ride all the way up into the lumber camp on the carriage. The camp is destroyed, and in the center is grouped all of the lumberjacks in varying degrees of sobriety. Would you like a quote saying again how stupid normal lumberjacks are and how cunning and evil the scabs are?
I feel like you've already gone over that enough.
2 whole paragraphs just for that again. Basically, the lumberjacks are too stupid to know better, which is why they went along with the scabs.
Yeah.
But they're all grouped together, and there was no rational reason to strike, but they were swayed by evil men. Dave goes and stands on the cart and talks to them. And he jumps off the cart, and because he's so big, everyone can see him. I think there's like one man in the crowd who's described as a giant, who's similar in size and stature to Dave. But everyone is small compared to him.
Why do we focus on just one guy that's about the same size as Dave?
So
that's a weird detail.
It'll matter in a minute.
Okay.
So he leaves his revolver in the cart, and he makes a speech. And he says, Mason was right to shoot Walford, the guy who had gotten shot, because they're like, he shot our leader. Because he's like, give me your leader. Give me your leader. Who can I talk to about this strike? And there's disagreement on who their leader is because he shot Walford, but Jim was the real leader. And so they like shove 6 people forward. And Bob tells Dave that it was just about wages. And they're working overtime, but they don't get paid more for the longer hours. So if previously they were working 8 hours and they were getting $2 a day, now they're working 12 or 15 hours and they're still only getting paid $2 a day. Mm-hmm. So he's saying, we want overtime or a raise. Like either give us a raise of so much per day or give us overtime because you're pushing us really, really hard.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable. They had a pay rise 3 months ago, but they don't feel like that's enough. And Dave is like, well, you should have come and talked to me instead of just striking and ruining everything. But he knows it's not their fault because they're simple men. Mm-hmm. It's those
So Dave
skunks.
wasn't aware of this strike the whole time?
Correct. He doesn't know until Mason comes and gets him. He has not been asked anything until he drives into the camp. It's absurd.
That's really stupid.
Yeah. So Dave does the very classic strategy of saying, of pointing at the group and saying, those strikers are not real lumberjacks. You guys are the real lumberjacks. It's their fault that you're getting in trouble and not getting paid wages. And he gets them to turn on each other and fight.
Oh, Dave does fucking suck.
He convinces the men that it's the unionist strikers' fault for everything. And Dave was an innocent bystander who only cared for their best interest.
I see.
Yes. He absolutely manipulates them.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
And they literally...
How does the author not think that makes Dave seem like a piece of shit?
Because Dave is the good guy.
Is the intention there to make him look like super clever or something?
It's just how Dave wins. Because he can't admit weakness. He can't give them a raise. He even says to them, I'm not giving you a raise. And they agree to it because the good lumberjacks are swayed by him and they'd been working for him a long time. So there's angry murmurings and fightings between themselves, and the giant that I mentioned earlier comes forward and challenges Dave.
This is anti-Dave. This is Evid.
Yes. And because he is big, he gets to say words because he gets to challenge Dave. He says... He come here to call us a pack of skunks and gophers. Him Watts making thousands of dollars a day out of us. He's come here to kick us like a lot of lousy curs. His own man shot up our leader, him as was trying to fit things right for us. I tell you it was murder, bloody murder. We're dirt to him. He can kick us, shoot us up. We're dogs, lousy yeller dogs we are. You'll listen to his slobbery talk and you'll go to work and he'll cut your wages lower so he can make thousands more out of you. Then he suddenly swung round on Dave with a fierce oath. God blast you, it's wages we want. Do you hear? Wages. And we're gonna have 'em. You ain't going to grind us no longer, you, mister. You're going to sign an agreement for rise of wages of a quarter all round. That's what you're going to do. This is the only actual demand Dave gets is a quarter raise, like a day, because he's not paying them hourly.
Right.
And this is when he's basically saying, I'm here to talk to the real lumberjacks. And they like fight with each other. The giant takes a swing at Dave. I'll show you, yells the giant, and he whips out a gun and shoots Dave on the shoulder. And before he can shoot again, Dave punches him so hard he gets knocked down. And nobody notices his limp left shoulder bleeding because he's a superhuman who doesn't actually die. He can't die.
Yeah, he gets hit by flaming logs in the chest, and he's fine for like 2 days. And then just collapses. Mm-hmm.
So some of the men start yelling, lynch him, about Dave. And then the ones who are loyal turn around and they just start beating the shit out of each other. They just have a mob fight.
This is so fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. Because Dave is there, suddenly there are loyalists?
Yes. That is literally how it goes. They literally...
They knew who they were working for, right?
Like, they're basically our dogs. Like, they were willing to go with the pack until their alpha shows up, and then they suddenly remember who's in charge or something.
Yeah, again, it's just demeaning to people, because it's just not treating people as if they have autonomy.
Correct. The lumberjacks are better men, so they win the battle.
Of course.
And they all come back, and they listen to Dave, because...
Dave's the correct man.
Yes.
He's the big man in charge.
He explains that Jim started the strike only because he hates Dave over a random thing. And Jim didn't care if it destroyed their livelihoods or destroyed their families or destroyed their town. It was all Jim. And Dave says that if they can't fulfill the government contract, he'll be broke and they'll be out of work. And he can't raise the wages, but if they make the contract, every man will get a bonus and guaranteed work next year. Because they're not, like, contracted. They just get piecemeal work whenever he offers it. But they'll have to work like hell to make up for it, and the men cheer. Woo! No raises, no wages. You're the best, Dave. Woo!
Yay?
Uh-huh.
That fucking sucks.
Dave is finally faint because of all the blood loss, and Tom takes him back to the dugout. Betty cares for him in the most maternal pick-me way possible. Mason works to rebuild the camp, and Dave is a fussy, whiny patient for Betty to care for. But caring for him makes her very happy. She's finally able to use these two pitiful women's hands to do something to help Dave.
Finally, she's useful.
Yep. And then Dave announced...
She's not bearing children or cooking food. God damn it. Finally, she's doing something.
She's doing something. Dave announces he has to return to the mill because logs are going to start coming down the river now that the jacks are working. They're like, no, you can't. And Betty's like, I can drive him down. And so she drives him down and they take Jim with them.
He's been on this cart for so long. He's been just sitting on this cart, shitting and pissing himself.
He's just a sack of potatoes. She prepares their stuff to go back. And then she goes to Dave and asks him to promise her something. She gets down on her knees and begs to be allowed to help him run his mills while his arm is healing. Literally is like crawling on the floor, begging and pleading for him to allow her to work at his mills for free. And he replies,
"This is a kink. This is this guy's weird fucking kink.
Like, the humiliation is the point."
Right. This author has like this weird kink where people are just begging to help.
Yes.
There's something weird in that.
Yes. And Dave replies, "I'll not refuse you, Betty. I only thank God for such a good little friend."
Oh no, now she's in the friend zone.
She's a weirdo. They return to the mill, and Betty oversees the preparation of the mill. Dave's ma oversees his physical care. So between the two women, he is kept alive, and his mill is kept going.
And we're passing the torch. You're his mom now, Betty.
Yes. You
gotta do it. You gotta do it subtly, or else Dave will freak out.
They literally tag team between who is watching after him. And this is when they finally realize they're in love with each other.
Whoa.
Finally. She asks what he's going to do with Jim, because I guess Jim has just been kept in a closet the whole time.
On the wagon.
Yeah. He's chained to the wagon. Dave says he's going to talk with Jim, man to man, and let him free once the mill starts running again. So I guess his idea is once the mill's running, Jim can't ruin me. Why? Who knows?
Why?
That's the line. I don't know.
Okay.
And Betty's like, what gives you the right to judge Jim? And I was thinking, yeah, aren't there sheriffs or judges or lawyers or anyone?
Imprisoning a man?
Yeah, you've imprisoned a man for weeks at this point?
Again, he's just an authoritarian.
Yeah.
He's an authoritarian governor for this town.
But Betty was meaning God will judge him.
Ah. Oh, I see. Of course.
But Dave tells her to go away, so she obediently goes and leaves him to it, because...
Don't worry about it, dear. You're a woman.
Yes, you don't need to worry your pretty little head about this.
You're already burning your thoughts out by, being a lumber manager.
So they bring Jim to Dave's office, And Dave is like leaning back on a bed. And he pulls out a revolver and sets it on his blanket. And he tells Jim to sit down. And Jim is like utterly defeated now. He lost all his money. He didn't win. The mill is going to start running again. He's ruined.
He's got no conviction.
Yeah. All the fight is gone. Dave spends 4 or 5 pages thinking of a summary of the whole book. I should have just read that into you instead of the 4 hours I've been doing this stupid goddamn book, because then you would have just known the whole story. He literally thinks through, and then I tried to take care of him, and then I told Betty, and then she said this, and then I did that, and then we had a strike, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, good, why isn't this book over?
It's so fucking annoying.
Yes.
Jeez. I can't think of any other book that has done that.
Then we have multiple paragraphs describing them both sitting there waiting. Because Dave has said, I'll let you go when the whistle blows. And we sit there staring at each man, waiting for the whistle to blow. It's like he wanted this book to be 300 pages. God damn it. And then Dave...
Was the scene where they're just fucking sitting there? Is that supposed to be like tense?
Supposed to be, but I'm falling asleep reading it. And finally, Dave announces that he is going to marry Betty, not Jim. This is his grand finale.
Dave's not gonna marry Jim.
Not Jim. God damn it.
I know. Dave's not gonna marry Jim.
This is correct. No homo. Jim is finally upset by something. He's been sitting here drooping like a wilted flower, but suddenly he's mad. But Dave points the gun at him, so he instead turns and leaves because the whistle blows and the work gets started in the mill. Betty comes in and Dave says he must see the mill working. And she's like, you can't get up and you can't walk around. You've been dying for weeks. This is the last quote. I promise. He says, I know. Only to the door, but I must see. The girl came over to his bedside. She lifted him with a great effort. He sat up. Then he swung his feet off the bed. Now, little girl, help me. It felt good to enforce his will upon Betty in this way.
Ew.
And the girl obeyed him with all her strength, with all her heart, stirred at his evident weakness. He stood leaning on her shakily. Now, little Betty, he said, breathing heavily, take me to the door. And we have the end scene of them standing at the door, watching the mill in front of them, all the stuff clacking, clanging, moving around, and they are like,
and he sits on the lintel
won.
again, on
like
top
a little
of
leprechaun.
the door, yeah.
And
it's full circle.
He says it's theirs, they've won, and he loves her, and they kiss, and it's the end.
Whoa.
So I was like, Lord, like we had benevolent patriarchy, we had incel culture, we had anti-unionist propaganda, effective altruism, we had millionaires as the underdogs. And so I got to the end of this and I was like, why was it written this way?
Yeah.
Like, I have read books that were people were trying to write as if they lived in 1840.
Right.
They usually come off really awkward, but this felt authentic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that takes a lot of skill. What has this guy done? Like, what else has he written? Mm-hmm. So I looked up Ridgwell Cullum, and he was a British writer who lived from 1867 to 1943.
Oh, so this is a much older book.
This was published in 1910 and made into a film in 1922.
What? I thought you said this was published 2016.
That's what the book says. The book literally says copyright 2/16/2016.
Okay, so this particular edition. So this is a really old book.
I guess it was open domain. Huh. And they just...
Oh, that's why your quotes were so goddamn long. I was like, man, I'm going to have to cut all those fucking quotes down because they're too long.
It's actually open domain. I could read the whole book and it would be fine.
Holy shit.
But I didn't. I was shocked. I was so shocked when I finally got to this because I was like, that's why the language was so archaic. That's why he didn't have a dictionary. That's why. But I was like, I didn't know they had altruistic stuff in 1910.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that all of these ugly men incel culture stuff was around in 1910.
Yeah, in some form or another, yeah.
I was so surprised. And so I was like, oh, huh. And it was making me think of that book where all I can remember is the Batman gag, and you made me laugh. And it was the snakes, the serpent people, Alex Jones conspiracies.
Oh, right.
And it was that novel that like had been set before all of these.
The Robert Howard pre-Conan thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it was making me think of that. And I was like, it's just nothing new? Are all of these peoples with this anti-woke manosphere, are they just cribbing the same stuff that's been around forever?
I mean, there are no new ideas. I've been telling everybody, I feel like I've been aggravating the piss out of everybody with my new latest thing, which is just looking into like Nazi ideology at the time. And, just a lot of the racism ideas are just stuff that was repeated over and over again cyclically. And, all the ideas are old and they just get like reformatted, reused, renewed, rediscovered, and played out again over and over again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are no new ideas and everybody is the same bastard that they've been for the last 1,000 years or however long humans have existed.
Yeah. So I was just like, I was shocked at how modern the points were and how old the book was. And then it was just, mind was blown that this is actually 1910.
Yeah.
And I was like, that explains the language. That explains why it fitted. But the fact the publication date, because I looked at it, and like you agreed, it looks self-published.
Right.
So I'm guessing someone just decided to do the self-published route of something that was open domain.
But for it to be that old and be that insecure with its main character?
I know, with his face and just, because like the looks maxing and the face hammer smashing and like this obsession with you can't get a woman because you're so ugly. I didn't realize that was forever.
Yeah. I mean, most guys that I know personally feel like that.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way because I know I'm pretty. I just have a repugnant personality.
Everyone tells you you're pretty.
Everyone keeps telling me I'm pretty, and they're not related to me, and they have no reason to tell me other than that it must be true. So it must be true.
Yep. You are the Jacob from Twilight, Jason Momoa, truck driver we all love.
Yeah.
Well, let me know if you find a piece of fiction that will suck the life out of my soul and make me die of heat exhaustion. And you can email it to us at BiblioWrecks@gmail.com, BiblioWrecks@gmail.com. I give this a D- for it sucks.
Yeah, no, it does sound like it sucks. And,
go on strike. Fuck Amazon, fuck Starbucks.
Go suck somebody on strike. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I'm sticking by that.
No.
I'm dying on that hill.
That's your bad advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I say have a good summer and don't do that. Bye.
Bye.